clothing for the whole family. Shop your favorite brands and get great deals this weekend only at Patagonia, Teva, North Face, MSR, and more. Follow Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Facebook and Instagram for updates or for all your local outdoor needs.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
This is Shannon Bream. Join me for Fox News Sunday as we sit down with a diverse and dynamic group of guests featuring interviews with political, business, and public affairs newsmakers from the U.S. and abroad. All part of the Sunday political block from Fox News Radio. Fox News Sunday, every Sunday, right here on this station.
Fox News Sunday, airing 11 a.m. Sundays, only on WIBX 950 a.m. and 92.3 FM.
First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
All right, Stephanie is on with Empowered Pathways, and there's a big event that's coming up next weekend, next Saturday, I believe it is. No, next Friday. Friday. And good morning. It's the big Come to the Table event for 2025. Good morning.
Yes, we're so excited about it. It's happening on Friday, May 16th, 5:30 p.m. at Harts Hill Inn. And as we always have, we are featuring a variety of tablescapes designed by very talented local designers. And they're really works of art. They have to be seen to be appreciated. But I can tell you in past years, we had a Jimmy Buffett themed table. We had a golf-themed table and a Syracuse University tailgate-themed table.
Yeah.
So they could really be anything. They can be a patio, outdoor patio set, a bedroom set, anything. But this year, what we're really excited about is we are also auctioning off an opportunity to be in the 2026 Holland Farms Jelly Bun commercial.
Oh, that's cool.
Fun.
Yeah, so if anyone has ever pictured themselves in that commercial or thought they could do it, here's your chance.
That's pretty cool.
And, yeah, we're really excited about it. And it's usually, sort of the big item. So
I'm also assuming someone could win that and then choose the person that they want to get into the. It wouldn't have to be the buyer, right?
I kind of like that spin.
Yeah.
I like that spin. Okay.
I mean,
possible. Yeah, they could actually do that. They could. I think last year the person who wanted it had some help from bidders. So
okay.
You can support someone who wants it.
That's right. Yes.
And Stephanie, they get to take so for folks who haven't gone to this, and it's a really beautiful event. When you bid on the table, you win the whole thing. You get to take all the decor home, right?
You do. You win the whole thing. And bidders have to be prepared to take that table home with them that night, or whatever it is they win home with them that night. So what I always tell people, if you get there and there's a couple of big items you want, start texting your friends and family to show up with their truck at the end of the night.
Because in some cases there is some, it's not a ton, very valuable, but not a ton of stuff. Others, it comes with a lot of, with some stuff. You may need a good-sized vehicle to get everything home, but it's obviously you're bidding on it, so you want it. Right. You gotta take it home.
And people are really creative. I mean, if you're an entertainer and really love to do tablescapes, I mean, you really have to check it out.
Yeah. Okay.
It really is a visual event. You have to see it.
Yeah. And let's see. Susan Nackley Mojave is the auctioneer and MC. It is Come to the Table 2025. You can look that up. Get tickets at cometothetable2025.eventbrite.com. And, of course, go to empoweredpathwayscny.org for details. Okay. Good stuff. We appreciate it, Stephanie.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day and good luck.
You too.
That, of
Bye-bye.
course, is next Friday. Next Friday. And, I didn't see where it's being held.
It's at Harts Hill Inn.
Harts Hill.
Harts Hill
That is,
Inn.
I do know that. Considering we're running the commercial, I should know that. Quick break.
Mattress Express is proud to announce we have added Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado, the big online brand, to our lineup in all of our stores. Go to mattressexpressny.com or call 1-800-NEW-BED.
Contractors and landscapers, be able to take on more jobs and get your current projects done with Warner Sales and Service. Whether it's the tough lifting and digging or the more precise work with attachments, Warner Sales and Service has the Bobcat rental to make sure your projects get done. Tough work demands tough equipment, so stop in today at Warner Sales and Service, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona, and at warnerss.com.
Where quality still counts at Warner's.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is as careful as you are, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock will monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. And if your identity's stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com. LifeLock. For the threats you can't control, terms apply.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
In studio this morning, guest host Megan Fraser McGrogan. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
So tell us about the big opening. It's now passed, which I'm assuming the biggest headache of all is just getting everybody in there and getting it started. But the Children's Museum is now open.
It is open, and we're so excited. We had 975 visitors between Thursday and Sunday, which was really
huge.
awesome. It was totally huge. And yes, you're right. That we keep saying it's like the finish line, but it's really just the start line because now we have to, welcome all the families in and we're working out the kinks. But really we had a weekend without too many glitches and people are very happy. You can't please everybody, but.
Well, were there people that weren't happy?
A couple.
I know. Somebody's not happy because they didn't get in. Somebody will come in and say, is this what it is? I thought it was going to be something else.
Yes.
That is the worst.
Yep, that's the worst. We've had a few of those, but you know what? They haven't been in person. They've been behind a computer. So, we can't please everybody, right? We're not going to be for everybody, but for the majority, everybody is so excited. The kids love it. The parents are tired and they want to leave. The kids want to stay all day.
Well, and there's a big part of this is you're trying to make it so that it is educational, but it is fun. And not everybody, and there's science behind this. There are a lot of experts that are behind this. Not everybody's going to get that, but the kids will.
Right, exactly. I mean, we've had our designers, they design children's museums all over the world. They came, they met with everybody. Actually, we welcomed the prior Utica Children's Museum board and the current board this past Tuesday, as well as ICANN's former and current board, just to talk about, let's do a little reminiscing and remember where we came from. The museum has a 60-plus year really rich history that we can't forget in all of this, right?
Right.
It was designed to be an institution where kids can come and learn and have fun while they're learning and really have a safe place to be. And that's really what we're all about. Having, a really awesome place where we have threaded New York State education standards through the whole museum, and you do have to interact with your kids. I mean, it's not a drop-off situation. You're coming with your kids and, really our play ambassadors that are there to make sure that what all the exhibits do and how to interact with them. And it is definitely a different type of museum than the old children's museum. So it's going to take a little getting used to.
And it is important to note it is not a drop them off. This is not a babysitting daycare center.
Right.
You're there to enjoy the experience with your kids. Or
right.
I think you're going to see a lot of schools are going to make the trip, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're totally booked for field trips in June. We actually just opened up some more slots on Tuesdays, so regular hours of operation Wednesday through Friday for field trips. We've had to increase that a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that too.
Nice.
Welcoming kids.
Okay, and now it's in the it's over on the Parkway now is where you will find the Children's Museum, and it's been a long haul, but it's open.
Yes.
And I know it's been a long haul, stuff that you can't even talk about, I'm assuming. Can you say that at the very least you had someone that was an expert at this, and at the last minute they kind of backed out?
Yes. No, we can talk about it now. I mean, we're open now. We solved the situation with a really great partner, but yes, our original fabricator. So
you had to bring in somebody else.
We did.
Which is unbelievable when you think about that.
It's really, when you think about what stage in the game we had to bring them in, it is unbelievable and remarkable that we are open, honestly.
Yeah.
What had happened. So when you think about, like, everybody's done some type of renovation at some point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you own a house, right, or some type of project where you're maybe involved at work or whatever,
right.
renovating something. So you have your original concept. So I would call that like the architect, right? So that's our museum designer. That was hands-on, which is, they're the ones that design, like I said, museums all over the world.
Yep.
Then those drawings, your quote unquote architect drawings, go to a fabricator, and then the fabricator really brings the drawings to life. And so they're literally constructing from the ground up every piece of this. And that is the step where we had a little bit of an issue. We were promised and told things that were happening, and trust me, I was in the conversations on the phone. I reviewed every single shop drawing, every single piece in this museum, and they got to a point where we started calling them out and saying, one thing's not adding up. Things aren't adding up here as far as how far your progress is. And unfortunately, they finally were honest with us way late in the game, but luckily they had engaged a subcontractor. That's fantastic. If you follow us on Facebook, or if you're on our emails, you would have seen pictures of me down in Florida. That's Phoenix Rising. They came, they installed the whole museum, and they are a fantastic group of individuals. So thankfully, they engaged with us, and
it must have been a fun day when they finally were honest with you. That had to be a tough day. We once did a thing where for Valentine's Day, and I know this sounds odd, but we gave out free divorces on Valentine's Day. And now one would think about this, that is a terrible thing. Like how, and believe me, there were people complaining. But you know that I love that.
Oh yeah.
But the whole thing was, it really is based on, I know Valentine's Day is a day of love, but it really is based on love, even though it is the lack thereof. But these were people who were unable to pay for a divorce. They both wanted a divorce, but divorce is expensive, or one didn't want to pay for it and was like, I don't care, you're not going to marry that woman. The exes were arguing and all of this, but we offered it, but by offering it free, it freed everybody up to do it. And so we got an attorney who had come up with this brand new concept where he said, I have the ability now to do $250 divorces.
Oh,
basically,
my God.
It's going to cost you, it'll be, and we're going to do it for you for free. And so I had the conversation with the guy, and I will never forget him saying this. I said, how many should we do? I mean, that's a pretty important question.
Right.
Because this was on K-Rock at the time. We were on in Syracuse. We were on in Utica. So a pretty large audience.
Yes.
So how many would you like us to do? And he said, as many as you can get.
Oh, no.
So We got about 130 in Utica and 230 in 240 in Syracuse.
Whoa.
So it was nearing the number of 500, and everything was good until the attorney said, my calculations were wrong. The system that I thought I had set up is not going to work, and I can't do it.
Oh, no.
None of them. He couldn't do any of them.
Not even one?
No.
Wow.
So now we have nearly over 400 couples
angry
that are ready for divorce. They've been promised. They signed up for it. They are expecting it to happen. And the radio station had it. This is when I met Joe Habaika.
Oh, my gosh.
So Joe came in, and Joe had to do every one of those divorces.
Oh, no. Yeah. And did the station have to pay for it?
Station did. I'm assuming that Joe and the station, they worked out some sort of an agreement.
That's why he has advertising in perpetuity.
He's still advertising over there, I think. And I don't know all of the details of it, but I'm assuming the station had to come up with fees and that sort of thing.
Right. So. Wow.
And of course, that was my fault because I did not have a signed contract with the attorney. So you had a signed contract.
We did, but there's always these,
I know.
People think contracts are ironclad, and I mean, we have good attorneys, and everybody looked at, but there's always something. And of course, when a company's going bankrupt or threatening going bankrupt, what
that changes everything. Yeah,
right?
You're right. And that's exactly what happened in this situation, to the point where he went to the radio station and said, I never said he could do as many as he wanted. No. He probably just didn't think, when he said to me, do as many as you can.
Right.
He probably thought they'll get a half dozen
20,
here, half dozen
30,
there,
right?
and I'll get them all done. But we had over 400.
Turns out love was in the air, just with other people.
And most of the people, this was the beauty of this. Most of the people wanted the divorce so that they could marry someone else.
Right.
So there is a little love in that after all. But it went south fast.
Yikes.
And I don't believe, it was great publicity. It was a great bid. It costs the radio station probably a lot of money. But
right.
So don't think that your situation is the worst.
No.
Okay.
I know there are far worse.
There are far worse.
that takes the cake.
It does. There's always a cake that's a little bit bigger out there.
Right.
Real talk.
This is Bill Keeler.
It's Brian Kilmeade. Hey, girl. Jimmy Fallon in the house.
Sean Hannity.
This is Guy Benson.
News you can trust. This is WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. The body found in the Barge Canal in Floyd has been identified as a man who had been reported missing since last month. Rome police confirmed the deceased identity as 40-year-old Brandon Montalbano, who was reported missing on April 24th by his family, but had been last seen on April 2nd. Police say they found no immediate signs of foul play or suspicious activity, but an autopsy and toxicology tests have been ordered by the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office. The death remains under investigation. Anyone with information about Montalbano or his activities after April 2nd is urged to contact Rome Police at 315-339-7744. 3 former corrections officers at the Marcy Correctional Facility are expected to face a judge today. The officers are considering plea deals in connection with their alleged roles in the beating death of inmate Robert Brooks back in December. Last month, they were all granted additional time to weigh their offers due to the discovery of new evidence that wasn't accessible to their attorneys. Anyone who doesn't accept a plea will go on trial. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is warning about the effect of potential cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. In Rensselaer yesterday, Schumer said any reductions may trigger a hunger crisis that would impact thousands of people across the area. Schumer says 1 million pounds of food was already canceled for the Regional Food Bank of Northeastern New York due to recent USDA cuts. He's calling on colleagues in Congress to take action and protect SNAP. The Buffalo Bills have named Verizon Wireless as a founding partner of the new Highmark Stadium. The telecommunications company is going to serve as the exclusive wireless partner of the facility located in Orchard Park. That would allow the Bills to have state-of-the-art technology and improve wireless solutions to help keep fans connected. Construction of the stadium is still underway, and it's expected to be open for the 2026 season. And missing out of a little sleep can potentially increase the risk of heart failure and artery disease. A new study found that short-term sleep deprivation triggers proteins linked to heart disease, even after just 3 nights. It also appears to make exercise less effective in triggering the proteins that help the heart. The study was published in the journal Biomarker Research. Your Weather Center forecast is coming up next. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
You got the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company is excited to announce the return of the 24th annual Adirondack Paddlefest and Gear Expo. This highly anticipated event will return to Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Route 28 in Old Forge, May 16th through the 18th. Join us for sales on outdoor gear, clothing, and boats. We'll have food, craft beer, music, kids' activities, and more. Shop over 1,000 canoes, kayaks, and SUPs from the leading manufacturers and hundreds of accessories to choose from. Representatives and vendors will be on hand to help you choose what is best for your paddling needs. Gear up for all your outdoor adventures with discounts on outdoor gear, footwear, and clothing for the whole family. Shop your favorite brands and get great deals this weekend only at Patagonia, Teva, North Face, MSR, and more. Follow Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Facebook and Instagram for updates or for all your local outdoor needs.
First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
In studio right now is Katie Aiello. Katie, good morning. Get your mic up. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I'm going to start, believe it or not, with you're running for re-election. So that's where I'll start. Yeah. I'm not going to stop there because there's a lot of stuff going on. But let's start with that. Talk about you want to keep doing this. You want to keep representing people.
And for me, actually, at first, I kind of didn't. I went through a lot throughout my political career here, and it was just becoming like, what is the point of all of this? And I started doing videos. A lot of people thought that was me wanting to run for higher office and position myself there, but really that was me just done. And just, I can't do this anymore if I can't say what's really going on. And, people told me not to. I'd be a target. I said, I am a target anyway, so might as well do it. And then as I kept doing it, I realized, okay, there are cracks in the system, which is a good thing. And that kind of like brought back the hope. And I just even saw constituents and everybody rise up over the time. And it just kind of gave me the reassurance to keep going.
All right. Do you expect any new controversies to pop up? The residence thing, I think, it should be done at this point.
I would hope.
Yeah.
I never know what they have up their sleeve. That's kind of, it just depends how creative they get this year. And that is part of the game, but at the same time, we have so much to discuss in my district. I had 3 sinkholes, I think, in the last month throughout the district. We have to talk about infrastructure, Oneida Square, Barnes Ave corridor. So that's where I'll be talking about. We'll see what they talk about.
Okay. Let's talk about yesterday, the Common Council meeting and the fire issue, and because it looks pretty messy.
Yeah.
And you have now the union coming out and saying the chief and the deputy chief are going on vacation at the same time. No one is there. They're not around. They're basically absentee leadership. Have you done any investigating into that to find out, is that what's happening, or is it a distortion of what's happening?
With this whole thing, obviously the legislation to remove the assistant fire chief came up March 25th, and from Councilwoman Samantha Clausmo-Testa, and it was just out of the blue. At one point, they tried saying that it was to save taxpayers' money. Well, then why didn't you bring it up 5 days sooner during the actual budget process? And I bring that up because every time they just have a different reason that the goalpost keeps moving. So I don't think it has anything to do with vacation time. I don't think it has anything to do with any of that. We had that meeting on Monday night for 2.5 hours. It was union leader Tommy Carcone and their representative attorney Ron Dunn. So throughout that, though, the only people really in support of their message was you have Samantha, whose husband was a firefighter, and then you have Frank Carcone, who is the uncle of Tommy, and it just became like the three-ring circus. And it's really unfortunate because I do agree, like there are issues that really concern me in the fire department. We can talk about Station 7 and get into all of that, but what's happening right now, removing the assistant fire chief was not going to benefit the city in any way.
And it did seem like this was, and the vote came down to Samantha and Carcone,
right?
And everyone else voted against the removal of the deputy chief.
Yeah, and I think we all had slightly different reasons. A lot of us were, it's out of our hands.
It's a significant vote because that includes Republicans as well.
Right,
so
right.
It's a bipartisan vote.
That was a big one for us. And I think we look at that, and some people thought it was out of our hands. I stood from the beginning saying this is retaliation. Your husband just got disciplined from the assistant fire chief, and now this comes out. There's all sorts of things attached to this. That just it
seems like everything that's attached to it. What can you talk about? There's stuff that we haven't really not gotten into the whole thing because it seems like it's like a little Harper Valley PTA going on here. What in the hell is going on?
Once you pull a thread, even at that meeting on Monday night, we're talking about lawsuits from 3 years ago. Well, they're still ongoing, I guess. But I'm like, what does this have to do? And I was frustrated because they come in and they tell us 207As are being denied left and right, and they're upset about it. And I want to learn more. So my question was, how many have we had in the last 5 years? Thank you.
Those are people who have been injured on the job, right?
Yes. Okay. And you can be compensated.
Yeah.
And
so is it like a disability?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if
which
there's
is going to be, first of all, we should all support. It is if someone is injured on the job, they should be taken care of.
Absolutely.
I think we can all agree with that. And they're saying they're being denied. Now, is it possible there are false claims? I don't know what's going on. So continue.
Right. Well, and my question was, so how many, give me a picture of the last 5 years. What does a lot mean?
Right. What are we talking?
And all of a sudden, nobody had numbers. And that's where I was just, the attorney told me I could go ask the assistant fire chief. I'm like, okay. And the chiefs, he said, but I did ask. And then it turns out it's been about, I guess, maybe 105 years of people who have applied. Less than 10 have been denied. And that's not the picture they were painting in my head. So now it's like, okay, what are those?
Why were those 10 denied?
That's where I don't know how much of it they can reveal with that.
Okay.
But that's where, okay, we're talking less than 10%. But these are the things. If you're going to come in with all of these accusations and concerns, and maybe like very valid ones, we need numbers, we need facts.
Right.
And sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say, and what is 100 a lot? If you look at a 5-10 year average.
No, and I agree. I think
it is 10 a lot.
Right.
For 100.
You have to have
100. So.
History.
That's where I think we can look to a lot of other cities, how they're doing it. And I thought Councilman Jack LaMedico had a great idea Monday night of have an independent party review all this. It's all he said, she said right now.
I would agree with that. I think that's a great suggestion.
Always a good idea.
Somebody said, how could we afford it? At this point, I don't see how we can afford it. Taxes have gone up already.
You don't see how you can afford it.
How we can't.
How you can't afford it.
Yeah, we have to do it from my point of view.
Well, sometimes these things pay off in the long run, right? You have to make an investment up front, but...
I mean, it would be interesting to know, are we going to find out that there have been some cases where, the old private detective is hired? I mean, these insurance companies don't want to give up anything. So they're monitoring the house, and all of a sudden... the person who can't do its job anymore is out chopping wood,
right, or on the roof,
or on the roof.
Right.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I get that, but is that what we're talking about? Or it does seem that if you remember, Chief Brooks went through a very difficult time because they were denying his claim that it was 9/11, the air. The cloud of smoke and everything that was in the air, the toxins caused his cancer. Mm-hmm. I looked at it this way with Chief Brooks. If it didn't happen at 9/11, I'm sure it happened at some fire he was at over the course of his long career. So is that the type of thing we're looking at? Do you have any idea, or does that all have to come from an investigation?
I think with 207As, that would require a much bigger conversation. And with the independent study, I think we should look at that. Overtime and replacement time hours, ambulance calls. We keep topping the charts for the number one ambulance calls in the country. That's insane. And the concern here is all of them are responding right out of Station 7 in Oneida Square. You have people responding from other districts also in sending a rig to get there first if need be, but they aren't on call for every single one. So right now, that means 100% of our ambulance calls are being responded to by the same 20% of firefighters, all the new ones. And this house is doing the same call volume as a house in Los Angeles.
Wow.
This isn't okay. This is where I would see retention breaking down. This is, talk about 207A, it's like the health and the risk of the people. But again, that was by design because you have people like the president of Tommy Carcone not wanting to have to ride an ambulance rig. So then they put clauses in their contract saying, those with least seniority have to be there first. And I think there is a breakdown, and I don't, they say it's all in the city's hands, and I think there's somewhere in between we need to find that balance because right now I don't know if we're doing the best we can for our firefighters.
Boy, I got to tell you, LaMedico sounds brilliant right now. After hearing just a little bit of this, the first thing I would say is independent, get somebody out of town.
That's right, unbiased.
Look at this. It doesn't know we're a small city. Everybody knows everybody.
Yep, politics are...
This one doesn't like this one because of that, and you need an independent look at this.
And everybody commit to going with it from the beginning. So even if we don't like certain answers at the end,
that's right.
That's how it goes.
You find someone who is not biased, is going to look at it fairly and deliver a fair report.
Right, because, at the end of the day, we're talking about first responders that are there to protect us, and they deserve to
no doubt
have protection themselves.
Yep. Yeah, if what Chief Brooks went through was horrible, and then it became even more horrible with the administration, in my opinion, at that time. But what that just shouldn't have happened. And if people are being injured on the job and they're not being taken care of, that is terrible. But if there's shenanigans going on. I think that should come out too.
We don't have that with that. Yeah. And my thing is, I've said it, truth fears no questions. So if there's nothing that can be concerned here, it's okay to ask the questions.
Yeah.
It's not a gotcha. It's let's get everybody where it needs to be.
Right.
All right. Anything else? You obviously knew we would be talking about this today.
Oh yeah, no. I'm glad it's finally squashed, and for last night at least. And there's more to discuss.
Obviously not going to put an end to it because now you have to really look and see what needs to be done going forward.
Right.
And what do you have to do to be able to get an independent look at this? Obviously, do you have the votes for that? Is that what it would take?
I think we've started that conversation, and I think that's what it could take with that, a resolution even, or just talking over where the mayor's at. They're in.
Because I got to tell you, we'd do it here if you want us to do it. I mean, probably a couple pizzas, Davey, and maybe a little Saranac.
Yeah.
We could do it.
Drive a hard
Get it right out. Right?
Save a lot of money. I mean, I'm just telling you.
Absolutely.
All right, Katie Aiello, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate the update.
Bold talk, reliable news.
It's the best talk all day.
This is WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Now through May 31st, get up to $140 back by mail on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $70 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or bridgestonerewards.com for details.
I want to go quickly. A lot of stuff happening at the brewery, at Matt Brewery. And Megan's guest contribution this morning is none other than the man, Fred Matt. Good morning.
How are you guys?
Doing well.
We're really hyping you up this morning, Fred. Can you handle it?
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking about disappointments. And one of my most disappointing days was when Megan left us.
Oh, come on.
You know, well, we just offered her the permanent job, and she turned me down, so it's become disappointing for me, too. And we're all on that.
Well, Bill, I've tried to get her back, but, you know, she just won't come back.
I told them this morning, Fred, I had to grow up from beer to impacting kids. You know, it's like adult stuff, you know.
We used to borrow her on Thursdays, if you remember. She was basically a sidekick. On Thursdays, she would come in and we were promoting Saranac Thursday and drinking.
Yeah, right. Well,
now,
I don't know if Fred knew about that.
Isn't it true she was second choice behind me?
I believe that's true. Yes, that is.
But I'm
true.
more fun, Fred. So.
All right. Well, listen.
Hey, Bill, I'll tell you one thing before.
Yes.
Megan's first date with her husband was sitting right next to me.
It's true. It's true.
With the tailor and the cook, and I said to the dude, I was sitting kitty corner. I said to him, Ryan, if I'm you, I'd run.
And he still stayed. So
yeah, he did not listen.
I must have been really charming. So Fred,
he does call me monthly and say, "What the hell did I do?"
Oh boy!
And sometimes in the middle of the month, I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes it's not predictable.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
So Fred, really quick. So you have a few new products out, right? You just sent me a billboard, Weekend Warrior. Tell us about that because that's pretty cool.
I just saw that. I just drove by the billboard, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually have 2 products. So Saranac Weekend Warrior is a mid-strength beer, so it's 3% alcohol. And the reason we did it was that what we're seeing is that people are getting much more mindful about what they're doing and what they're drinking and being more healthy. And, you know, so obviously lower alcohol is a good thing. And one of the things that I feel like as I get a little older is that my kids will say that, you know, I'm not present. And, you know, or then you go out and you start drinking and you have 5 or 6 beers and you're definitely not present.
Right.
And, you know, the beauty of this beer is what people have said is you get the lower alcohol beers, there's no taste. So our brewers got together and we produced a beer that is, brewed a beer that is really flavorful, but it's 3% alcohol. And the beauty of that is you can stay present, you can drink a bunch of them, and have no hangover the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And
yeah.
so I think that, you know, I mean, I talk about when I mow the lawn, I come in at lunch and I want to have a beer, but then I don't want to fall asleep, too.
Right. Ruin the rest of your day.
So, yeah. So a 3% alcohol beer is great because I can have it and still be part of the, you know, still go outside, play golf, do whatever I want to do. So I think for, you know, where the market is moving and where people are looking, and we're doing is stealing this from Australia and New Zealand. It's now 25% of the business.
Wow, is that right?
And in the UK, it's jumped from 10 to 20% in the last year.
Now, is that non-alc Fred, or just low ABV?
Low alcohol.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
So mid-strength we stole from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So they call it mid-strength.
So you're getting, by the way, my wife, after a few too many, calls me her little present. So I believe that's with some bit of sarcasm. I don't think it's a compliment. I don't think. Anyway.
Maybe she's getting a little present.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, this one's south.
Yep. We've gone off the rails.
I jumped ahead of Megan was going to say it. I didn't want it.
She was going
to.
It was nice that you said that. Yes.
Thanks for doing it for me, Fred.
And then there's the recent honors that you guys received, both as craft and as overall brewery. A big story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're growing, which is good. And one of the things I think that we've done well is we've diversified.
Mm-hmm.
We've invested a lot of money into the brewery and making it more flexible and upping, quality as you go along. And so that, one of the things, and we ship beer all around the world. Just one other thing on new products, we just introduced a Saranac Growler, which is an IPA. It is in 16-ounce cans, 12 packs, but it's priced at Saranac 12-ounce, 12-pack pricing. So you're getting 33% more beer for same old $18.99.
Wow, that's really cool. That's nice.
And the reason we're doing that is that I think the consumer right now is under unprecedented financial pressure, and everybody's seeing their 401ks get hit, et cetera. And it's trying times, and so how can we help out as a company that is fortunate to have been around 137 years, and fortunate because we have good customers that have supported us in good times and in bad. And so, if we can give back something to this community and to all our customers in the, across the Northeast, we think it's a good thing to do. So we're doing that.
That's very cool.
All right, so great stuff happening. We have to get you in studio, and we can try sample a few of these.
I know.
Things sometime
I
soon.
still got it. So I'm away. I'll call you in the next 2 weeks. I can definitely do it.
Yeah,
right.
And I'll get some THC too.
Oh boy,
that's going to be.
We're in that business now.
Yeah,
that is.
It's exploded though. It
has, and there's a lot of.
But I have to say, Megan's got to be there too, because we got to make sure that she has a little THC with her.
Okay.
I'll take the day off that day. Now it's I cannot do that.
It's a little bit.
You got to coordinate yours and my visit with Bill, and we're going to do
right.
THC.
Remember, I'm in a different industry now.
Well, sometimes parenthood and all of that, kids can make you very stressed. And
well, honestly, it's really for anxiety. A lot of my friends, it's legal, and I think there's a stigma that it shouldn't be. If people can legally drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes, it's legal.
There's also a thought that consuming it through a beverage like this is actually far healthier, certainly healthier for your lungs.
Yes,
right?
yes, a lot of people
when you think about that.
And a non-alc they have too. The Trailblazer Fred is very good.
Yeah,
I
like
really
that.
love that.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
we'll definitely get that and try that. Joe Load has a quick question for you, Fred.
Oh, of course he does.
I don't know what he's going to be upset about something.
Wait, he can't be mad about UC Light because that's out.
He's got to love
kind
that.
of shut me out for a while, so I'm happy that he's got a question for me.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's see what happens.
I was feeling like a jilted lover.
No. I just, Fred, in the long run, I do love you. I'm not necessarily in agreement with all your decisions. However, I missed the first part of the interview. Were you announcing the return of Saranac Shandy?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Because I heard rumors.
You have been ghosting me. You did acknowledge that.
Okay.
I feel like this is a therapy session here,
Is that
Bill.
really coming back?
Should we send a $250 bill?
We should.
If anybody's been listening the whole show,
$250.
everything's $250.
Everything is $250. All right. Is the
Yeah, no, Joe, Shandy is back, and
Okay.
I think we're shipping it May 21st.
And that is, for somebody who I do not really love sweet drinks. That is so delicious, though. I will
really
say
is.
I missed that one.
And not that
it's real lemonade.
Not that I've introduced anything to Fred by any means, but about 25 years ago, I have a bottle of shandy from Ireland, and it's called Keeler shandy.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to find it, and I brought it to Fred. I think that's where he got the idea for the shandy.
Oh, of course.
That's exactly it.
That sounds right to
So,
me.
Joe, so now I'm going to get. Now Bill is going to have his lawyers send me a royalty.
That's right.
agreement
Yeah.
for the
That's
last
right.
20 years.
That is right.
$250.
Or I'm going to just demand you put my name on the bottle. That's all.
Right.
That would
You
solve
probably
the whole
settle
problem.
for a free 6-pack.
I probably would. All right, Joe, I'm letting you go. Thank you, man. You got some
Thank
good news
you.
today. Some good news. And Fred, definitely have to get you in studio soon. You let me know. And thanks for the time this morning.
Thanks,
That'll
Fred.
be great. Megan,
All right.
we'll coordinate.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. Fred Matt with the FX Matt Brewery.
First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom, but a little over a year ago, we realized she couldn't take care of herself without our help. And well, how could I not be there for her? I had no idea how hard it would be, and just what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and, even for me, ways to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics that got me started, but also information about the hurdles I was facing in this new role. I could even connect with experts and hear from others who had been in my place. I know this road we're on isn't an easy one, but I'm really happy to have the extra help for her and for me.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. This message is brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What have you done for your marriage today? For every couple, it's a little different.
I sent my husband a love email.
We're going to the museums as a family.
What have I done for my marriage today?
I suppose I didn't yell at him for anything at all.
I made my wife laugh. That is a big plus for a marriage. Keep her laughing.
What have you done for your marriage today? Make a change for the better. Need help? Go to foryourmarriage.org. A message from the Catholic Communication Campaign.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The president gets royal treatment. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the moment President Trump arrived at the royal court in Saudi Arabia a few hours ago at a ceremony with the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
This is an important relationship. Saudi Arabia is about the size of Western Europe. It's a top 20 economy. If the United States isn't here, officials say the Chinese will be here. That's why President Trump is here. That's why he's greeting all these dignitaries. And the pomp and circumstance has been incredible. There was F-15 fighter escort from the Saudi Air Force for Air Force One.
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Riyadh. The president will be pushing for more investment into the U.S. on a trip that will also take him to the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. The president also plans at some point to talk to Idon Alexander, Hamas's last living American hostage, set free yesterday in an attempt to get another ceasefire with Israel.
But 19 months in captivity in Gaza means he's weak and still needs hospital treatment. Alexander was raised in New Jersey but was serving in the Israeli military when he was kidnapped. He'll stay in Israel for now and talk later on the phone to President Donald Trump. A face-to-face meeting at the White House has been slotted in for later this month.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. It'll be day 2 of testimony at Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial in New York, where the star rapper and music producer is facing sex trafficking and other charges.
The prosecution's third called witness is expected to be Cassie Ventura. She is the woman Combs is seen chasing and attacking on a widely seen hotel surveillance video. After opening statements Monday, federal lawyers called a hotel security guard and a male escort to the stand. both saying in some way they saw evidence of Combs' violence toward Ventura.
Fox's Gernal Scott. In France, a famous actor was convicted today. Gerard Depardieu, found guilty of sexually assaulting 2 women on a movie set. He was given an 18-month suspended prison sentence. America's listening to Fox News.
After joining the United States Army, Thomas Kennedy served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. But sadly, this soldier's life was tragically cut short. Thomas was killed by a Taliban suicide bomber in Afghanistan. He left behind his wife Cammie and their beautiful twins Maggie and Brody. Tunnel to Towers provided the Kennedy family with a mortgage-free home. Families like the Kennedys need your help. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
House Republicans keep working on what President Trump calls one big, beautiful budget bill.
The Congressional Budget Office, which provides estimates on the cost of policies proposed by Congress, estimates the proposed recommendations in the Energy and Commerce Committee's portion of the One Big Beautiful Bill would reduce deficits by more than $880 billion over a 10-year period. The E&C Committee oversees Medicaid funding and has been instructed to find at least $880 billion in cuts. Some of those recommendations to find savings includes expanding work requirements for able-bodied people and trying to remove illegal immigrants from Medicaid rolls. While the estimate is good news for Republicans trying to rein in government spending, Democrats argue some of the changes would lead to millions losing insurance. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are down the day after that huge surge. The Dow gained over 1,100 points in reaction to a truce in the U.S.-China trade war. In the NBA playoffs, the New York Knicks beat Boston 121-113 to go up 3-1 on the defending champion Celtics, who also lost star player Jason Tatum to injury. Minnesota also went up 3-1 on Golden State with a 117-110 win. Before the games, the NBA held a lottery.
The number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
That sound courtesy of ESPN. In what has been a roller coaster of a season, the Dallas Mavericks have won the NBA draft lottery after having just a 1.8% chance to earn the top spot. Dallas now earns the right to potentially draft the highly touted Cooper Flagg out of Duke. The Mavericks will pick first, followed by the San Antonio Spurs at 2 and the Philadelphia 76ers at 3. Tony Genualdo, Fox News.
In the NHL playoffs, Edmonton shut out Vegas 3-0. Carolina beat Washington 5-2. The Oilers and the Hurricanes both take 3-1 series leads. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. Brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Should judges be able to... Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. 56 degrees and cloudy outside. Your Weather Center forecast is coming up next. The body found in the barge canal in Floyd has been identified as a man who had been reported missing since April. Rome police confirmed the deceased identity as 40-year-old Brandon Montalbano, who was reported missing on April 24th by his family but had last been seen on April 2nd. Police say they found no immediate signs of foul play or suspicious activity, but an autopsy and toxicology tests have been ordered by the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office. The death remains under investigation. Anyone with information about Montalbano or his activities after April 2nd is urged to contact Rome Police at 315-339-7744. Should judges be able to impose bail on animal cruelty suspects in New York? A Long Island prosecutor is leading the charge to make that happen. Standing before pit bulls rescued from a dogfighting ring, Nassau County DA Ann Donnelly on Monday made the case for bail in animal cruelty cases. State law currently does not allow prosecutors to ask for bail in such cases. Donnelly, pointing to recent examples, insisted animal cruelty suspects are dangerous and a danger to society. She did not cite examples of animal cruelty suspects fleeing to avoid trial or committing other crimes while awaiting trial. With more folks spending time outdoors these days, the State Department of Health is issuing a reminder about the danger of ticks. Those insects are known to cause serious illnesses such as Lyme disease, which is the most commonly reported tick-borne illness in the state. It's recommended people dress appropriately when outside and used an insect repellent for additional protection. Symptoms of Lyme disease include fever, chills, rash, fatigue, and joint and muscle pain. And there are now more than 1,000 confirmed cases of measles in the U.S. since an outbreak started in Texas in January. It's only the second time there have been that many cases in 3 decades. Texas is still ground zero of the outbreak, with more than 700 cases reported, according to the Centers for Disease Control. 3 people have died, including 2 children. Your WIBX News Time, 7:07. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
All right, deep breath now because more rain coming back into the forecast here as we head on through probably later this afternoon and tonight. Just a small chance we could get a shower in here with thickening clouds this afternoon. 80 tonight, a passing shower early. Better chance of showers late, 58. And a few widely scattered showers tomorrow, 70 degrees. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
56 degrees and cloudy. Your WIBX news time is 7:08. Let's take a look at sports. Broadcasting from the IBEDW 43 local sports desk, the NBA conference semifinals are continuing to heat up. The Knicks took a commanding 3-1 series lead over the reigning champion Celtics with a 121-113 win at Madison Square Garden. Out west, the Timberwolves took their own 3-1 series in a 117-110 takedown of the Warriors in San Francisco. The action rolls on with a pair of Game 5s tonight. The East and the Pacers are aiming to close out their series win with over-the-top-seeded Cavaliers. In the West, the Thunder play host to the Nuggets with the series tied at 2 games apiece. Chaos ripping through the projected NBA draft order because the Mavericks won the lottery for the first time in their franchise history with just 1.8% of a chance. They were the 4th lowest odds to ever earn the top pick. Round 1 of the drafts takes place in Brooklyn on June 25th. The Hurricanes and Oilers are both one step away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Canes topped the Capitals, and the Oilers shut out the Golden Knights in Game 4 of their best-of-7 second-round series. Vegas hosting Edmonton in Game 5 on Wednesday, and Washington hosting Carolina for Game 5 on Thursday. One game is on the slate for tonight. The Dallas Stars are up 2-1 on Winnipeg, Jets earning a Game 5. The Mets have won back-to-back games after walking off the Pirates 4-3 in their series opener. Pete Alonso driving in the game-winning run with a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 9th. They lead the NL East. They have a 3-game set tonight, or they continue their 3-game set tonight. Yankees still leading the AL East by winning back-to-back games after cruising to an 11-5 victory over the Mariners. Trent Grisham slugged 2 more home runs to bring his season total to 12. The Giants made an addition to their roster on Monday, signing undrafted cornerback TJ Moore after he participated in rookie minicamp. New York also re-signed wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey and waived undrafted defensive backs Tommy McCormick and RJ Delancey III. Jets also inking another member. Gang Green signed wide receiver Arion Smith to his rookie contract on Monday. He was the 110th overall pick. And the NFL says Fox will televise a Saturday doubleheader on December 20th. In the first of the Week 16 matchups, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles will visit the Commanders. The other game will have the Green Bay Packers playing the Bears in Chicago. Earlier on Monday, the league announced the Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL's kickoff game set for September 4th. The entire 2025 season schedule will be released on Wednesday. Currently, it is 7:11 on your WIBX News Time, 56 degrees and cloudy. I'm Megan Stone.
Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company is excited to announce the return of the 24th annual Adirondack Paddlefest and Gear Expo. This highly anticipated event will return to Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Route 28 in Old Forge, May 16th through the 18th. Join us for sales on outdoor gear, clothing, and boats. We'll have food, craft beer, music, kids' activities, and more. Shop over 1,000 canoes, kayaks, and SUPs from the leading manufacturers and hundreds of accessories to choose from. Representatives and vendors will be on hand to help you choose what is best for your paddling needs. Gear up for all your outdoor adventures with discounts on outdoor gear, footwear, and clothing for the whole family. Shop your favorite brands and get great deals this weekend only at Patagonia, Teva, North Face, MSR, and more. Follow Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Facebook and Instagram for updates or for all your local outdoor needs.
When it comes to the ones we love, their comfort and dignity matter most. That is why Hospice and Palliative Care is here for you. When you want your loved ones' wishes to be honored, when you want them to be comfortable, safe, and secure, and when you want them to be wherever they call home, Hospice and Palliative Care is the right choice. Our team of professional doctors, nurses, social workers, and bereavement counselors are dedicated to providing compassionate care every step of the way. At Hospice, your loved one is not alone, and neither are you. We are just a phone call away, ready to support you through this journey. Choose Hospice and Palliative Care, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison County for the comfort and dignity your loved ones deserve. For more information, visit our website, hospicecareinc.org, or call us today at 315-735-6484. Hospice and Palliative Care, Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison counties.
When you need us most.
Stop putting off registering for the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race because it's almost sold out. People are sprinting to Boilermaker.com to grab their racing bibs before they're gone. Reserve your spot at the starting line now and punch your ticket to the world's best post-race party, where there will be live music, drinks, food, and plenty of surprises. This year's Boilermaker will be bigger and better than ever, but the window to sign up is closing. So run, don't walk, to Boilermaker.com and sign up for one of America's most famous races. See you at the starting line, July 13th.
Hey, everybody in upstate New York. I don't know where in upstate New York, but thanks for listening to the Keeler Show. Never met this man. Don't know why I'm telling everybody to listen, but thank you very much. By the way, this is Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I have nothing else really to say to you, but I thank you for listening to me tell you to listen to this man, Bill Keeler, on WIBX.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
I don't know if you recall this story about a murderer hiding out, living like no one ever knew. Living out, hiding out in Little Falls, right down the thruway from us. The book is called A Second Shot. It's written by Dr. Michael Weisberg, and he is on the line right now. Doc, good morning. Thanks so much for coming on.
Good morning, Bill, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
So let's, the book is called A Second Shot, The Pursuit of Justice in Maryland's Oldest Cold Case Murder, which brings us to our area in Little Falls. Let's start with the background on the story and obviously on the book.
Okay, well, the Little Falls connection comes in where Larry Smith, who is the man accused of murder, was born in Little Falls and was there till he was 7 and adopted, and eventually moved down to Maryland with his adopted family and his 3 siblings who were adopted along with him. Once the crime had occurred in 1971, the murder of a deputy sheriff, whose daughter 50 years later was my patient in Plano, Texas. And that's how I got involved in this case. She came to me and asked me to write a book about the solving of the murder of her father, because I had written 2 previous books that were novels that she and her husband both enjoyed. So I said, sure. Well, initially I was kind of skeptical because I'd never written a true crime book before, but then I said, sure, I'd do it. Now, as far as Larry Smith, he, after leaving Maryland in 1980, moved back to Little Falls. His adopted family name was Larry Becker, and he changed it back to Larry Smith when he moved back to Little Falls, married and had a family, 3 children there, and lived there for the remainder of the time until the present time.
So I seem to recall that they had discovered that he was basically just hiding out, unassuming. I mean, no one knew. They just thought he was just a regular guy.
You have to remember there were 50 years that went by, and no one even thought of him as a suspect. Everyone in Rockville, Maryland, and Montgomery County, Maryland, was focused in on 5 boys who, at the same night, were breaking into Coke machines at the country club where the murder occurred. And one of those boys was the one who had done other things that were against the law, and the police and everyone focused in on him. It's what we call tunnel vision in both medicine and in police work, where you find one suspect and zero in on them and forget about everyone else. But it wasn't until 3 female detectives reopened the case in 2021 and went through the different evidence that was in the case, including a reel-to-reel tape that had never been digitalized, in which they ended up getting the FBI to digitalize, that they found a conversation and interrogation with Larry Smith, at that time Larry Becker, where he named himself as being at the scene of the crime and got a couple of the important details right. In murder cases and police cases, they have what they call holdback.
Yeah.
Evidence is not released to the public. And the evidence that wasn't released to the public, one of them was that part of it was that there was a second shot, not just one shot, but 2 shots. The first shot hit the sheriff's flashlight. It was a dark, rainy night, and the sheriff's flashlight was knocked from his hand. And the second shot was the kill shot, which hit him in the back of the head and caused his demise 3 days later in the hospital. So he had, on this reel-to-reel tape, with the investigation with 3 law enforcement officers who were involved in the prison and who didn't know anything about the case itself, talked about the second shot and talked about the deputy sheriff, J.T. Hall, having a flashlight. And that's what led the 3 female detectives in 2021 to consider him a suspect and to go about trying to talk to him and eventually obtain a confession from him.
Wow. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? Where you could be living in a neighborhood, the people that you know, that you think you know, maybe you don't know. And Little Falls will be a really good place to hide out. Of course, having ties to there, I'm surprised that's where he went. It may have been better if he went to another community where he didn't have ties.
If you read the book, it's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
As far as his guilt and whether or not he did this, what goes on. I also focus a lot on the family, the Philo Hall family, Philo, who were the ones that got me into the case. They were all in law enforcement. His son-in-law was a policeman. His nephews were police. They were all in law enforcement and how it affected them. But if you look at when they actually found him, was he really trying to hide out? I mean, he was on the internet. He was on Facebook. He had a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey for sale. The only thing he had really changed was his name. But everything else he was the same. He built a life for himself in Little Falls. He'd had a variety of jobs, including working as a security guard. As I mentioned, the man who was murdered, J.T. Hall, was working as a security guard at the Manor Country Club that night. He was also a nurse's aide and had really was a successful citizen. So there was really no reason, other than the fact that this reel-to-reel tape had been found, to suspect that anything could be going on with him.
What was the reason for killing the deputy?
No one knows for sure. Now, there was, in addition to the Coke machines being broken into that night, there was a robbery going on that night at a house on the Manor Country Club right across the golf course from the clubhouse. I've been there and I've walked the whole scene, the murder scene, and seen it. And you can see from that house, you can actually see the clubhouse. The people in the house had moved in 1 month before, and they were away that day. And someone broke into the house and was moving their possessions, stealing their possessions, and moving them across the dark, rainy golf course that night to the parking lot, which is where the deputy sheriff, J.T. Hall, was parked. And they were moving these possessions across there, and it was thought that he came upon them while he was patrolling the parking lot in the country club and said, "What's going on? What are you doing?" And then 2 shots rang out, one of which killed him.
Wow.
It could also be said that he wasn't supposed to be the patrolman on duty that night. That the one who was that 30 minutes before the shift started, the man who was supposed to be there that night called him and said he couldn't make it because of a family emergency. So that he switched and he took that shift, in which he was murdered.
Wow. Some of the reviews on this are really, really good. Talking about your background as both a scientist, as a doctor, and a storyteller adds depth to the book, offering a thoughtful reflection on justice and second chances beyond just a crime retelling. And then from the book review, twisting true crime that readers will never predict. It is quite an amazing story. What do you want for people who may not be familiar with this case? What do you want them to take away in this book?
I think several things. I think first and the family said it well, the Fowler family, if someone in your family is murdered or has something done to them, never give up hope that eventually the crime can be solved. Here, 50 years later, just a pair of fresh eyes was able to find that there was evidence and try someone for the case who 50 years before the name wasn't even known.
Yeah.
I think also I'd like to say kind of what you just said as far as this whole thing, this 3-year experience for me was such a roller coaster. It's a second shot because that's what drew the law enforcement detectives, the cold case detectives, to Larry Smith in the first place. But it's also a second shot for the family to, after all these years and never giving up and living with this, to try to have the case of their father's murder solved. And finally, if you read the book, you'll find it was a second shot for me because in the middle of all this going on, I had a terrible health crisis. And I actually had a quadruple bypass surgery for my heart. So that kind of sidelined me, but that gave me my second shot at life.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing the similarity there, right? The second shot similarity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the title tells a lot. And I also start the book out with what's called the butterfly effect. How a butterfly flapping its wings in Iowa can cause a typhoon or monsoon in Japan. How everything in life is interconnected. Mm-hmm. And I show how the only patients that I ever received as a referral from this one doctor was Carolyn Philo's mother. He and I overlapped our practice 14 years. She was the only patient I received. She was the wife of the man who was murdered. And then it turned out that because of that, his daughter became my patient, and she ended up being the one who asked me to write the book.
Wow.
And all these things happened because of that one doctor in 14 years, for some reason, decided to send this one patient to me.
Yeah, wow. Really, really interesting. The book is A Second Shot, The Pursuit of Justice in Maryland's Oldest Cold Case Murder. And in parentheses, you should add, includes an amazing story in Little Falls, New York. Pretty wild. So,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on. And the
Bill,
book,
I really appreciate you having me. I really appreciate you having me on.
I'm assuming it's available wherever you get your books, all over the place.
Exactly. It's published by Intelligentsia Books. It's available, of course, on Amazon as well as in bookstores. And it has gone on sale this week.
All right. Beautiful. All right, Mike, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Again, thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Pretty wild, right? That's a pretty cool connection. There's another story out there. I saw in another documentary where a murder had occurred, and it also had ties to Little Falls. What is it about Little Falls? There was a terrible jeweler murder that occurred back in I believe it would have been the 1980s in Little Falls. What is it about Little Falls?
Now through May 31st, get up to $160 back by mail on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get up to an additional $80 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or firestonerewards.com for details.
The Memorial Day sale is on at Mattress Express. No one in New York State has all the brands we have. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish. And now we have added Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta, and Avocado. Hurry.
We're the power in power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
At Kubota, we want to help you deliver a job done right. That's why we want you to know that new Kubota inventory is arriving daily. You have work to do. We have the reliable, durable, and versatile lineup to help you do it. Visit us at whitesfarmsupply.com.
We're the power in power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
Hey, small business owners, I want you to listen up. Wouldn't it be great to be able to pick up a walkie-talkie, simply push a button, and start talking to your staff wherever they are nationwide? Now, up to 200 units on one feed. They have their nationwide LTE coverage, and they're 100% private. For a limited time, just go to rapidradios.com. You'll get 60% off. You get free UPS shipping from Michigan. You add the promo code radio25. You get an extra $25 off and a free EMP protection bag.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Coming up, we'll hear from Jovita and the Rome Learning Center and this new presentation of Hair and the song from it. Of course, Aquarius. We'll hear some audio on that coming up in a few minutes. A few things to keep in mind here this morning. A few good stories, positive news stories. High school baseball team in Arizona is getting praise after helping fight a fire nearby during a game. The fire was on a woman's property, and she didn't realize it at first. She was working from home and was wearing headphones. Thanks to their quick thinking and the help of first responders, the fire was put out. The house was saved. Here is the coach talking about actually what happened when the players saw the fire.
And he was almost in tears. I mean, for us to be in the middle of a game and him to come over and want to give thanks to our boys, the first thing he said was, make sure you tell those boys that saved my house, give them some recognition. Kind of a really big event for these kids, because kind of what we talk about is not just being good on the baseball field, it's being good citizens.
Pretty wild, right? A nice story. It's always good to get at least one good story in. Speaking of good stories, Joe Concha is with Fox News. Of course, we've heard Joe sit in for Jimmy when he's away, usually coming up here to perform with his good buddy, Davey. The new book out is The Greatest Comeback Ever Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. Joe, good morning. Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, I wanted a longer title, and the publisher shot me down because I thought that The Greatest Comeback Ever Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign, ellipsis, unburdened by what has been, would have been really, the capper, but they said there wasn't enough real estate.
No, well, you still have to have his picture in there, right? You got to have that. And the word ever, you really want that to be in big, bold font. So more words would have been a problem.
This is true. But the photo, I think, is cool. I always test people, Bill. Where is the photo from that we used?
Well, I know that because Davey caught it when we saw that. And I do like the yellow and red colors, which remind me of Mickey D's McDonald's.
Correct. And, it's funny because you go over, what's the cover going to look like with your publisher, in this case, HarperCollins. And most people in the room said, well, we have to go with the assassination, the first one in Butler, Pennsylvania, the president with his fist in the air saying, fight, 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 blood running down his face. I said, you know what? That's an iconic photo, right? It's like Iwo Jima. It's the moonwalk and that landing. But I think it's almost overused, for lack of a better term.
I agree.
I said, what really captured the campaign was the visit to McDonald's. He's the fries guy. He's working the drive-through. He's happy. He's the happy warrior. They're trying to portray him as Hitler, but at last check, Hitler probably didn't work a shift to McDonald's. And meanwhile, it was the perfect troll, Bill, because Kamala Harris, remember, during the summer kept saying that during her rallies that I worked at a McDonald's. And turns out, she wrote 2 memoirs about her own life and never mentioned it once when she ran for president in 2019. Never mentioned as vice president. So Trump knew it was BS. So it was half troll, half, hey, I'm here to speak directly to the people. I'm the billionaire you can relate to. And that photo went everywhere, the president told me when I interviewed him. He said, especially in places where people don't pay attention to campaigns, non-propensity voters, younger voters. And I think it was a stroke of genius. And I think that really captures why this campaign was so successful.
I know you only have a couple of minutes with us, but the book, The Greatest Comeback Ever Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign by Joe Concha is available all over the place. You can get it. And by the way, I think he really referenced it, even though he didn't say he was referencing the book, or maybe he did, and it was edited out yesterday during the Meet the Press interview. But he did say, this is the greatest comeback ever. You should be talking about that. And it really is. Whether you're a pro-Trump or anti-Trump person, you have to look at this as like thinking it could never happen. And it did. And he became the candidate. Like with this McDonald's picture is a great example, which is why I think it's the perfect photo for this. He became the candidate who became relatable. And the Democrats were out of touch.
Out of touch, angry, unhinged, didn't have any solutions, right? And here's the thing. When you think about where he was, even a year ago, 94 felony charges, right? A hostile media against him, an installed candidate in Kamala Harris, like not one Democratic voter voted for her, and 2 assassination attempts. All these things working against him, and he still overcame all of it. Not only like barely won, but every swing state, the popular vote, wins back the Senate for Republicans. They hold the House, clean sweep. I don't know if I would have predicted that, say, 2 years ago. I would have thought maybe now it's Ron DeSantis' time. He overcomes it all, and it just shows the resilience of the man to keep moving forward despite all of these headwinds.
2 things I have to say. I remember I was sitting watching I believe it was a Mets game. Very dedicated fan. And I got the text message that said, you're not going to believe it, Trump was shot. And that was from one person. The second text message, once you found out that Trump was okay, was a friend of mine, Rob, who said, Trump just won the election. And
isn't that funny?
It was. I think that was obviously it was terrible, but what a boon for the campaign.
Absolutely. I was about to go on the big weekend show on Fox. It happened at 6:13 p.m. Eastern time, that assassination attempt in Butler. And after you realized he was okay, I turned to Jason Chaffetz, who was one of my co-hosts, and I said to Jason, I think he just won the election. Yeah. So we weren't alone in that, because even Joe Rogan said that was the moment I realized that I was going to endorse Donald Trump and basically a Republican for the first time. That was a big moment. And Kamala Harris not going to the Al Smith dinner, for example, blowing that off. I think that was a big moment. The vice presidential debate, J.D. Vance wipes the floor with Goofy Tim Walz. So many moments in this election where you say, that's where they won the election. But I think most of all, that assassination attempt, and have the wherewithal. When I spoke to the president, Bill, and I said, what made you get up in that moment? There could have been a second shooter. He said, you know what? My family was watching. My youngest son was watching. The country was watching. And I wanted them to make sure that I was going to be okay, and this movement was not going to be stopped.
Yeah. No one can see an opportunity like Trump. I just, not that was an opportunity, but it was, and he knew it. And because of that fight, you just knew he absolutely knew it. Let's talk a little bit about the Democrats. One of the interesting thing and I know you probably have, a minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. As long as you need me.
Meet the Press interview yesterday. Afterwards, they were talking, and one of the media panelists said the Democrats are relying on the Trump. There's going to be a lot of negative press on Trump for the midterms. Therein lies the problem the Democrats have had. They've only relied on the negative of Donald Trump. They've not been able to show their positive and why people should pull the lever for them.
That's the thing. We saw the negative press during the campaign. We saw it in 2016 against Hillary, and he's still one of those situations. COVID, different situation, 2020. I don't even count that because that was such a unique election. But yeah, look, the midterms bill come down to the economy, stupid. It always comes down to that. It comes to Trump's big bet with this tariff war. If he ends up being successful there and he gets this big, beautiful bill passed with all the tax cuts and all the things that come along with that, that will be rocket fuel for the economy. Then Democrats will be like in a Sherwood Forest wilderness because they've offered no solutions to this point. And if they go into those midterms when he has a strong economy and the border is secure and those wars overseas are taken care of, I don't see how they win those, even when usually the incumbent loses seats. I don't see what they're running on at this point. What, abortion still? I mean, there's nothing really for them to grasp onto if the economy is doing well. If it's not doing well, then Democrats will take back the House and impeachment proceedings will begin. That I can guarantee you.
Well, it's and I think that's very interesting how he used the word impeachment yesterday, and it's going to be one of the strategies that I believe Republicans will use, and that is that if the Democrats win the House, get ready because they're going to impeach. They're going to use that. There's no doubt, and I think that'll be effective.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing about impeachment is it's so watered down. It just doesn't have the zha-zha-zhu like it used to. I mean, he was impeached twice already.
Right.
I mean, and you need 2/3 of a vote in the Senate to remove, and they just simply
no.
don't
I think when I say that, I think the cry is by Republicans saying they're going to try another impeachment is a great strategy going into the midterms.
Absolutely, yeah, because there's going to be complete gridlock, and that's certainly something that no one wants. I think the general public, outside of the people that actually watch MSNBC, don't want that. But here we are.
Okay, the book is The Greatest Comeback Ever Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. You cannot deny it. No one ever saw it coming. Maybe they did. Those who did, we thought were crazy. And look where we are today. It's just unbelievable. The book is available all over the place. And, Joe, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bill. You have a good one. Take care.
You do the same. Thanks so much. A good friend of Jimmy Fallon, Joe Concha. Quick break.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. The body found in the barge canal in Floyd has been identified as a man who had been reported missing since April. Rome police confirmed the deceased identity as 40-year-old Brandon Montalbano, who was reported missing on April 24th by his family but had last been seen on April 2nd. Police say they found no immediate signs of foul play or suspicious activity, but an autopsy and toxicology tests have been ordered by the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office. The death remains under investigation. Anyone with information about Montalbano or his activities after April 2nd is urged to contact Rome Police at 315-339-7744. Pins may be gone from Sangertown Square in New Hartford, but something new is moving in. The shopping center announced 2 businesses are coming to the area, an indoor entertainment park and a fitness center. Shoppers will soon be able to visit Fun Nation and Crunch Fitness, which will open at the former JCPenney site. Fun Nation offers a virtual reality area, dodgeball and basketball courts, wall climbing, a Ninja Warrior course, and more. Crunch Fitness is a national brand and is set to open its doors early next year. The U.S. is blocking imports of livestock along the southern border with Mexico in an effort to stop the spread of a parasitic insect. The Department of Agriculture announced Sunday the measures were being taken in response to the New World screwworm, a pest detected on farms some 700 miles from the border. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said the suspension would continue on a month-by-month basis until containment and eradication efforts show progress. And a small California study found that over half of Black and Latino women regularly use beauty products containing a chemical linked to uterine cancer. Researchers asked 70 Black and Latino women in Los Angeles to log use of their personal care products for a week and take pictures of the labels to note ingredients. The study found 53% of the women used beauty products containing formaldehyde. The study noted formaldehyde is in an array of products including soap, lotion, shampoo, conditioner, eyeliner, and eyelash glue. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, deep breath now because more rain coming back into the forecast here as we head on through probably later this afternoon and tonight. Just a small chance we could get a shower in here with thickening clouds this afternoon. 80 tonight, a passing shower early. Better chance of showers late, 58. And a few widely scattered showers tomorrow, 70 degrees. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company is excited to announce the return of the 24th annual Adirondack Paddlefest and Gear Expo. This highly anticipated event will return to Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Route 28 in Old Forge, May 16th through the 18th. Join us for sales on outdoor gear, clothing, and boats. We'll have food, craft beer, music, kids' activities, and more. Shop over 1,000 canoes, kayaks, and SUPs from the leading manufacturers and hundreds of accessories to choose from. Representatives and vendors will be on hand to help you choose what is best for your paddling needs. Gear up for all your outdoor adventures with discounts on outdoor gear, footwear, and clothing for the whole family. Shop your favorite brands and get great deals this weekend only at Patagonia, Teva, North Face, MSR, and more. Follow Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Facebook and Instagram for updates or for all your local outdoor needs.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Alrighty. So this weekend on Saturday in Rome, there is a big event. As I was speaking with Rick Lewis a little earlier, and it is an amazing music event that features the band Showtime. It's CNY on stage live Saturday at the Capitol Theater, and these kids who are young performers reimagining a classic with a real different approach and a modern day approach to Hare's iconic Aquarius. And behind all of this is Jovita Bernard, and she's in studio right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Thanks so much for having me here.
So give me, if you could first, your background and the Pulse Initiative and all of what it is that you do.
Yes. So I'm the managing director of the Academy of Performing Creative Arts. We're a private education facility training for all instruments and voice. And Pulse is an initiative that we designed years ago to be able to empower emerging artists, and we're talking about young talents.
Yeah.
So we're providing higher end music, performance, storytelling. So what we're doing is providing the options for them to be able to raise the bar on their talent in the locality.
And you chose to, in this particular situation, these young kids to redo Aquarius, which is
yes.
no easy task.
No, it's actually been a year in the making.
Yeah.
We obviously, it's from a different decade. The song hasn't been done for over 50 years.
Yeah.
It was in a wonderful musical that actually introduced rock music to Broadway. And then the two songs that we put together as a medley was made popular by the R&B group Fifth Dimension back in 1969. Yeah. So we've taken a song that's over 5 decades and we've created it with an extremely new, very, very new approach, very today, very in, but at the same time keeping to the spirit of the song by using young people.
Yeah. It'll be performed on Saturday.
It will be performed for their first live performance. We are in the process of releasing their single on all the streaming platforms and on
including
YouTube.
A video.
Yes,
which will be really cool. Can I play a little piece of this?
Absolutely, can't wait.
I know we're going to get them in studio soon.
Yes, I would love to bring them in to meet with you, and you can have a little chat with them about their experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. And these are kids. What age? We're
13 to young adults. Yes.
Wow. Just listen to this. It is really, and this is mastered but not complete, or it is complete.
This
it is
is
a
complete.
mastered.
This is
This is
mastered.
it. Okay.
This is mastered.
Here it is. Check this out. It is really something to listen to. Boy, it'd be terrible if it wasn't playing, and I don't know why it's not playing for me here now. That is not good. Let's try it again. Davey, you have it in there, and I'm loading again. Oh, Lord. After all of this, you do have it, Davey? Because I am quickly running out of time. But are you able to play? There it is. I don't know if it's coming from my computer or yours, but it just started playing. Here we go. I mean, the harmonies are just incredible. And the music is a throwback. I love it.
This is very good.
Will be available when?
As soon as the audio is released at the same time.
All right. And you'll let us know when that is.
We'll let you know when that is. And these guys actually performed with national music artists on this.
I understand. This is really, really good. All right. Check them out this Saturday, kicking off that big show happening at the Capitol Theater.
Now through May 31st, get up to $140 back by mail on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $70 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or bridgestonerewards.com for details.
Get pumped for summer. Add smart heat pump cooling and heating to your home. Call City Suburban today. 315-864-9734 or go online to citysuburban.com. That's citysuburban.com.
All right, Morehouse on the New York Mets. Champion teams do not have long losing streaks. Pete Alonso is carrying us right now. Lindor is doing his thing. Soto will be okay, and at some point, put this team on his back. Bring on the Dodgers. Exciting year to be a Mets fan. Who do you like? You're probably a
I'm
Yankees.
a Yankees guy.
Yeah.
And actually, I was going to ask that in the last segment was, how's Soto working out for you?
Well, I got to tell you that I'm okay. As a Mets fan, obviously we still have the best record in baseball. And Soto has done a tremendous job for Pete Alonso. So they're pitching around Soto, and they're stuck with Alonso, and Alonso's hitting lights out, it sees.
Same thing with Judge. That's what they.
That's kind of what happened there.
But his fielding is a little suspect, don't you think?
I don't. I have not been glued to every game. It usually takes, and I'll explain why. I'm left to watch the Mets games outdoors. We have a little screen room, and that's where I watch the Mets games. My wife owns the TV. I'm pretty sure she bought it. I don't know. But I believe she owns it and determines what's watched on that TV. So once it warms up a little bit, I'll be outside a lot. So with that said, I did see Soto make a throw and at the plate it was a bullet to home plate to prevent a run from coming in. Mets go on to win the game. So I've seen nothing but really good defense out of him.
Good.
However, as a Yankees fan, I feel like that was not his thing, right?
There was, I guess it's all relative when you're paying somebody that much money. I guess you expect perfection.
Yes.
But there was a couple of times where he looked a little shaky in the field.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where all of it goes. One thing is for sure, he won't be shaky because he's short on dough.
Yeah.
It's not going to be out there, man, I have no money. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Oh, here's a fly ball. I just missed it. That ain't happening with Juan Soto.
No.
Mike and Skyler. Good morning, Michael. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
How you doing? Also, he won't be shaky, too, because about not having a place to stay because he has that suite all year long.
That's right. That's right. Paid for by the Mets. Yeah.
But, no, I wanted to comment. The thing is, too, is exciting, to have that feeling, exciting to be Yankee, it's going to be hard for me to feel that way as long as Aaron Boone is there. I tell you, yesterday, I was watching a game. They're up 3-0. Rondon is doing phenomenal. I fall asleep because it's late, and I wake up, it's 4-3, and I watch the end of it, and then they lose. Now, last night, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was a close game. I had no idea of what
went down, what happened.
But this morning, then I find out that he puts Cruz in there. Cruz only pitches 2 pitches. He does phenomenal. Then they take him out, and then they put Williams in, and then the game's over. And I'm thinking to myself, he said he wants to save his arm. Okay. Now, I know you say to yourself, oh, it's the beginning of the year, but it's not when you're playing, it's who you're playing against.
Yeah.
And the way San Diego is playing right now, you might be looking at a World Series contender. Right?
I think without going any further on this, I do think, because Davey wants to comment, I do think what's going on is we just look at all the analytics today. We are so concentrated. I say we. I'm not a part of it. I don't know if you know that. But it looks like these teams and these managers are so set on pitch count, and we're only going this far, and you got to save the arm, and it's all done on the research that's been done by a bunch of people sitting at a computer determining what's the best move. And sometimes the best move comes from your gut. That's what makes a good baseball manager, I think. But
and the fact is, too, I mean, that Cruz has been unstoppable.
Yeah.
He only pitched 2 pitches, right? He didn't do that much.
Yeah.
Now, from what you've seen, Williams has been struggling. That new closer, he's been struggling, right? In a game like last night, they can't lose a game like that because the problem with that is, the other team sees that and you go, oh, look at him, he's making a decision like that.
Yeah.
So if it shows a lot right there. And
it is the beginning. It is the beginning of May. And if I say that to you in August, it is only August. I mean, don't reason to worry.
It's a time, I believe it's the teams you're playing against. Because
can I tell you you tell me without getting into too much information about. My personal life is basically an open book on this program. And it always really has been since I've been in radio, and much to the chagrin of many people in my family. But over the years, I think I've gotten much better. So I don't want to give up too much information on my family members' personal information. However, you tell me if this is bad. So I may have a kid who may be graduating sometime soon. And that kid might have a friend that we have not met yet. And as a celebration, and I'm getting a lot of criticism over this, as a celebration, by the way, the kid's a Yankees fan, as a celebration, that just pisses me off right to begin with. Couldn't I get lucky enough to have, no. Anyway, so listen to me. So to celebrate, I had an opportunity to get someone's club seats for a Mets game coming up next week. So I thought, what a great celebration of graduation by taking everybody 4 tickets.
Amazing.
To a Mets game. And amazing Mets. And so the criticism is, so I'm thinking, well, the friend likes baseball, and what a great way to really, figure things out a little bit. Do we like the friend? Do we not like the friend? But now, listen to me. Mike, I'm being criticized because it's not my graduation. It's like the time, my wife compares it to the time that I came home and bought her a faucet for her birthday. It was a beautiful faucet. You just touched it and the water came out.
Love it.
Well, I took that back because apparently that wasn't a good birthday gift. I feel this is a great opportunity to bond, and yes, it's the Mets. Yes, it's something I like. But I feel it's a great graduation gift. Your thoughts, Mike?
Well, I believe so. I mean, here's the thing. I can actually put myself in that because I'm a big Yankee fan, right? My brother, he actually won tickets to see the Mets. I never been to Mets Stadium. I don't like the Mets, but I went with my brother and my
Citi
father.
Field is really nice, right? It's nice.
Yeah.
But remember though,
it was a great experience.
This isn't about the Mets versus Yankees thing. This is about my wife, my kid hate baseball. So but it's different when you go, and these are club seats. These are really nice seats. So, they're going to be, there's a waiter that's going to come to you and say, hello, what would you like? Right? They speak that way even at the baseball games. The criticism is I'm going more for me than I am. But I don't think it's a fair criticism. I
wouldn't say though. I wouldn't say that.
I'm being very selfless. I'm being very selfless.
You don't know until you go. And, you said he doesn't like baseball, but he goes there. It's a great experience. Also, it might change his mind. Either way, it's a great experience.
Yeah,
it's about the experience and. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to use that as ammunition when I go forward on this. Okay.
Okay, well, I wish you the best.
Okay, because I won't win. Trust me. Okay, Michael, thank you. Steve Houck is in. Your thoughts on this? Remember, the issue is not about Yankees versus Mets.
I mean,
the issue is about certain people going to this game are not only don't like baseball, but like my wife doesn't like sports. The only way I can get her to sit down and watch a football game is if I tell her the commercials are going to be really good. You got to wait for the commercials. And I don't know, Beyonce's playing in the halftime of the Super Bowl. So it's more about, we hate baseball. Why would we do this on such an important day?
I look at it. I remember I took my daughter to the first game at Yankee Stadium and she was very little and she walked out into the field, and all she said was "Wow," because it's part of baseball is you get there and you're outside and some of these things. It's the beauty of it.
It is
the beautiful grass,
and you walk in, you see it's breathtaking when you see these stadiums. But keep in mind, in family court, one of the big criticisms is that parents tend to, if you've got a 5 or 6 year old, boy, can you fill their heads and all of a sudden. Maybe even pit the kid against maybe one or the other, especially in divorce, right? It gets very, very ugly. We forget to mention how we're able to program our children. When you have you have a household, you're not divorced. It's a regular. So there's your kid, and you're like, this is my chance to take my daughter to have this incredible visual of a Yankees game. She will be a fan forever. So you're really trying to manipulate the mind here.
So, and what you're suggesting
Did it work?
Worked for me. I don't know if it worked for you because your son doesn't like the Mets. So I'm guessing no.
Yeah, well, you're right. It hasn't worked for me, but it did for you. So, Davey.
And we discussed last week, me and you, when you said that you were going to go to the Citi Field to see the Pirates and the Mets. And I mentioned I hope Paul Skeens is pitching for the Pirates on one of them days you're going, so that'd be an awesome game to see him.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. My luck, it'll get rained out. I got one chance to go. It's that night, and hopefully, because there's no opportunity to come back the next day, so I hope it's good weather.
Well, they play the Yankees, and they play the Yankees after the Pirates at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be big. Is it 2 games? Only 2?
No, it's the 16th, 17th, and 18th next weekend.
All right. Last year, it seemed like the Subway Series was only 2 games each time they played.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The President and the Crown Prince. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's when President Trump arrived at the royal court in Saudi Arabia, starting a Middle East trip several hours ago, with the president pushing for more investments in the U.S., saying in a meeting minutes ago with Mohammed bin Salman.
We have the best military equipment in the world by far. That is undisputed.
Fox's Peter Ducey's in Riyadh.
The Crown Prince wants Saudi Arabia to be a major player on the world stage, and they are. So we expect the next couple days to look like this when it comes to investment in the U.S. Saudi Arabia's got the $600 billion pledged over the next 4 years. Qatar has $200 to $300 billion expected to be announced on this trip. Plus, you got the $400 million jumbo jet. And then When we get to the United Arab Emirates, they say $1.4 trillion pledged to the U.S. over the next 10 years.
Also, on this trip, the president plans a phone call with Idan Alexander, a hostage Hamas set free yesterday, who then had an emotional reunion with his mother. That was when she finally got to hug him for the first time. Alexander is getting treatment now in Israel after 19 months in captivity in Gaza. The 21-year-old, who was an Israeli soldier when kidnapped in the 2023 Hamas terror attack, was the last living American hostage Hamas released in an attempt to get a new ceasefire with Israel. A legal victory for President Trump's push to deport those here illegally. The IRS will be allowed to share tax data with ICE.
Nonprofit groups suing to block the Internal Revenue Service from sharing undocumented immigrants' tax return data with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The groups arguing immigrants who pay taxes still have privacy protections. A U.S. district judge refusing to grant a request for a preliminary injunction.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. Kim Kardashian has arrived at a courthouse in Paris. She'll testify against the men who robbed her at gunpoint back in 2016. America's listening to Fox News.
After joining the United States Army, Thomas Kennedy served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. But sadly, this soldier's life was tragically cut short. Thomas was killed by a Taliban suicide bomber in Afghanistan. He left behind his wife Cammie and their beautiful twins Maggie and Brody. Tunnel to Towers provided the Kennedy family with a mortgage-free home. Families like the Kennedys need your help. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Sean Diddy Combs will soon return to federal court in New York City this morning for day 2 of testimony at the star rapper and music producer's trial. He's charged with sex trafficking and racketeering, accused of abusing women in drug-fueled sexual encounters. Combs denies that, claiming it was all consensual. There's another high-profile case back in court today in Southern California.
Eric and Lyle Menendez returned to a courtroom in Van Nuys on possible resentencing for the brothers, who are serving life in prison for the shotgun killings of their parents in 1989. The brothers claimed they were sexually abused for years by their father, Jose, an entertainment exec. The petition to vacate their conviction in light of new evidence, including a letter Eric wrote months before the murders, and a former Menudo pop star's claims that he was drugged and raped by Jose in the 80s. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks may drop after yesterday's huge surge following the U.S.-China trade agreement. Dow futures are down more than 200 points the day after the Dow gained well over 1,000. In the NBA playoffs, Minnesota and New York both won to go up 3-1 in their series. The Timberwolves beat the Golden State Warriors 117-110. The Knicks topped the Celtics 121-113, and the defending champions, Boston, lost more than the game.
Anunoby all by himself throws it down, and Tatum is hurt. Tatum is down. He wants a timeout. Tatum in so much pain.
That was the call on ESPN. Tatum had scored 42 points in the Celtics' loss. He was carried off the court and left the arena in a wheelchair. Before the games, the Dallas Mavericks hit the jackpot, winning the NBA draft lottery. They had just a 1.8% chance, the lowest odds of any NBA team that's ever won the number 1 NBA draft pick. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina beat Washington 5-2. Edmonton shut out Vegas 3-0. Both the Hurricanes and the Oilers now have 3-1 series leads. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. Right now it is 60 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast will be coming up next. The body found in the barge canal in Floyd has been identified as a man who had been reported missing since April. Rome police confirmed the deceased identity as 40-year-old Brandon Montalbano, who was reported missing on April 24th by his family, but had last been seen on April 2nd. Police say they found no immediate signs of foul play or suspicious activity, but an autopsy and toxicology tests have been ordered by the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office. The death remains under investigation. Anyone with information about Montalbano or his activities after April 2nd is urged to contact Rome Police at 315-339-7744. 3 former corrections officers at the Marcy Correctional Facility are expected to face a judge today. The officers are considering plea deals in connection with their alleged roles in the beating death of inmate Robert Brooks back in December. Last month, they were all granted additional time to weigh their offers due to the discovery of new evidence that wasn't accessible to their attorneys. Anyone who doesn't accept a plea will go on trial. Pins may be gone from Sangertown Square in New Hartford, but something new is moving in. The shopping center announced 2 businesses are coming to the area, an indoor entertainment park and a fitness center. Shoppers will soon be able to visit Fun Nation and Crunch Fitness, which will open at the former JCPenney site. Fun Nation offers a virtual reality area, dodgeball and basketball courts, wall climbing, a Ninja Warrior course, and more. Crunch Fitness is a national brand and is set to open its doors early next year. And Governor Kathy Hochul confirmed 3 prisons will be closed as part of the 2026 New York State budget plan in an effort to reform the state's prison system. Hochul did not identify which prisons have been marked for closure, but did say this will not result in a loss of jobs. Hochul said the ongoing staffing crisis was one of the main reasons why these prisons will be closed. Another factor was prison populations. The 3 prison closures was revised down from Hochul's originally proposed 5. Your WIBX news time is 8:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
All right, deep breath now because more rain coming back into the forecast here as we head on through probably later this afternoon and tonight. Just a small chance we could get a shower in here with thickening clouds this afternoon. 80 tonight, a passing shower early. Better chance of showers late, 58. And a few widely scattered showers tomorrow, 70 degrees. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
60 degrees and cloudy. Let's take a look at sports. Broadcasting from the IBEDW 43 local sports desk, the NBA conference semifinals are continuing to heat up. The Knicks took a commanding 3-1 series lead over the Celtics, winning 121-113. Out west, the Timberwolves took their own 3-1 series lead, 117-110 against the Warriors. The action rolls on with a pair of Game 5s tonight. Pacers aiming to close out the series with a win over the Cavs, and Thunder playing host to the Nuggets with the series tied at 2 games apiece. Chaos ripping through the projected NBA draft order because the Mavericks won the lottery for the first time in franchise history with a 1.8% chance. They were the 4th lowest odds to ever earn the top pick. The Spurs shot up from the 8th to the 2nd following the 76ers. Round 1 of the draft takes place in Brooklyn on June 25th. The Hurricanes and Oilers are both one step away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Canes topped the Capitals, and the Oilers shut out the Golden Knights in Game 4 of their best-of-7 second-round series. Vegas hosting Edmonton for Game 5 tomorrow, and Washington hosting Carolina for Game 5 on Thursday. One game is on the slate for tonight, though. The Dallas Stars up 2-1 against the Jets entering Game 5. The Mets winning back-to-back games, walking off the Pirates 4-3 in the series opener. Pete Alonso drove in the game-winning run with a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 9th. New York leading the NL East. Yankees leading the AL East, winning back-to-back games after cruising to an 11-5 victory over the Mariners with their series opener. Trent Grisham slugged 2 more home runs, bringing his season total to 12. The Giants made an addition to their roster on Monday, signing undrafted cornerback TJ Moore after he participated in rookie minicamp. New York also re-signed wide receiver receiver Little Jordan Humphrey and waived undrafted defensive backs Tommy McCormick and R.J. Delancey III. Jets also adding a member to their class, Gang Green signing wide receiver Arion Smith into his rookie contract on Monday. He was the 110th overall pick. And the NFL says Fox will televise a Saturday doubleheader on December 20th. In the first of the Week 16 matchups, the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, visit the Commanders. The other game will have the Packers playing the Bears in Chicago. Earlier on Monday, the league announced the Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL's kickoff game on the 4th. The entire 2025 season schedule will be released tomorrow. Your WIBX news time is 8:10. Currently 60 degrees and cloudy. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
Ferris commercial mowers set the bar with racing-inspired patented full suspension and integrated cutting decks so you can go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Ferris Experience Suspension. Take advantage of the best financing and prices of the year. Visit us at whitesfarmsupply.com.
We're the power and power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company is excited to announce the return of the 24th annual Adirondack Paddlefest and Gear Expo. This highly anticipated event will return to Mountainman Outdoor Supply Company on Route 28 in Old Forge, May 16th through the 18th. Join us for sales on outdoor gear, clothing, and boats. We'll have food, craft beer, music, kids' activities, and more. Shop over 1,000 canoes, kayaks, and SUPs from the leading manufacturers and hundreds of accessories to choose from. Representatives and vendors will be on hand to help you choose what is best for your paddling needs. Gear up for all your outdoor adventures with discounts on outdoor gear, footwear, and clothing for the whole family. Shop your favorite brands and get great deals this weekend only at Patagonia, Teva, North Face, MSR, and more. Follow Mountain Man Outdoor Supply Company on Facebook and Instagram for updates or for all your local outdoor needs.
It's Brian Kilmeade.
But I believe that Putin has totally misunderstood Donald Trump being patient.
It looks like Vladimir Putin wants to make Trump look bad. Trump has taken political risks by going out of his way to say, I just want to be an arbiter to bring peace, knowing that most people know that the enemy and the villain is clearly Vladimir Putin. I think the president knows it, but it doesn't do any good for him to keep bringing it up.
Brian Kilmeade, weekday mornings at 9 on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, making his way in studio. And if you can come a little more this way, I get you on camera. Yes, you. Yeah. He won't bite, although he is a conservative. Just beware.
We're good. Country music should bring everybody together.
That's right.
Well,
before we get started, the reason I'm here is you don't have any extra grant money lying around in a drawer for a little village like Newport, do you?
Well,
You're a little over the border.
I heard a little over the border, and as you know, that can be very important when it comes to grants. I'm brand new in Congress, so I heard you as I was coming down on the New York State budget, which you're very familiar with, and it is. I heard your comment about summer because it could impact your summer. I talked to some of my colleagues who were back in the Assembly the Senate a while ago. Listen, we want to help Central New York. I'd love to be able to help you, but I think that might be a tough advocacy. I'll have to work with Representative Stefanik and figure out if we got some joint ventures that may be good regional priorities.
Yes,
what we like to call that.
Give her a call. I mean, it's for the Mohawk Valley. I mean, we want to make it better.
One thing that
got to work with her.
One thing that is good is that there are farmers in Newport, and we're going to need them all, as many as we can get.
Yep.
This announcement was incredible. last week.
It was, absolutely. But I'm going to go back to that, though. So seriously, Mayor, and whatever hat you want me to call you here, the community-funded projects for the House are open, right? So this is the time to engage with your representative's office. And for my side, I say side, but from my side of the border, we have, received requests for major project funding, and we want to make the area better, whether it's public safety or wastewater or clean water. But yeah, the Chobani announcement is fantastic, and of course, I'm so proud as a Central New Yorker to have been there at that event. And, a lot of other people had a lot more to do with it than I did, but it is programs like we had in the state legislature, like Fast New York, that is designed to make sure, I think we would all agree, we have things that make us a more challenging business climate in New York State. And we got to get through that. So it is programs like that are helpful, but it's great for our dairy farmers, certainly great for our workforce, great for the area. And, I remember when Griffiths closed and we were losing a lot of jobs down at the west end of the district around the same time. This is why it's just great to see and experience, and people are super excited about it, and they should be.
It was good to see. I mean, obviously, County Executive Pacini played a major role, and he seemed to bond with the owner of Chobani, and in fact, Handy called him his brother, and I don't think he just throws that around. So that was, but at the same time, it seemed like everyone take your party hat off. Right up to the governor, and the governor played a role in this as well.
True.
So it was good to see everybody working together for a big common positive.
I think that's Central New York and the Mohawk Valley. We've got representatives on both sides of the aisle. My experience in the western end of NY22 is exactly that, and a lot is talked about Micron, but you look at who played a role, and it went to the president, U.S. senators, the governor, the county executive, and our economic development team, and the Onondaga County Legislature, Town of Clay, the supervisor. The people I mentioned there are Republicans and Democrats, right? Yeah. Because when at the end of the day, we care about where we live, and we want it to be better. And the people of this area also, they expect us to work together.
Right.
And I do feel like, you look at former representatives Hanna and Bollert, Arcuri, the people that hang around are usually the ones that are working with everybody. And, that's my experience in my county. So.
Are you worried about is the Micron funding secure and safe at this point?
We continuously check in there. So we not only check in with Micron, of course, we check in with the Commerce Department, and we check in with our economic development folks and the governor's office. And the good news is the contract is signed. There's lots of other good news there, which is from a national security standpoint, we really need to make these semiconductor chips in this country.
Right.
And we're going to need 400% more memory chips. So what they're going to make at Micron are these memory chips, within the next 25 years. So we got to do it. And I do, we can always get into political back and forth with this administration. But the bottom line is, even though, when the president says on the floor of the House of Representatives, like, we got to get rid of this, obviously that's concerning. But when we check in, I think, the people around him, and certainly in the Commerce Department, understand the importance of this. So
especially
my confidence is still very, very high.
Especially right now, when what the president his goal is, what we're going through with all of these tariffs, the goal is to bring manufacturing back, and this high-tech manufacturing, and then this latest deal with Ukraine. So I think it really shows, it just shines the light on this Micron project as being, no matter who came up with it, no matter which administration at this point, this is good for America.
That's right. And the CHIPS and Science funding is, I think we all wish we wouldn't talk about blue states and red states because we have an example right here. New York in the presidential election leans blue. But, upstate New York, we're down the middle.
Right,
and sometimes a little bluer and a little redder than other places.
Yeah.
But those other states, I'm gonna call them red states, right? Which is a line I don't like to use because like Ohio has a major Intel plant that's in production right now that's benefiting from CHIPS and Science. Ohio's still pretty down the middle.
Yeah.
And my point is that funding is good for the whole country from a national security standpoint, but from an economic development standpoint, it's good for multiple states, not just New York. So,
were you going to?
Yeah, Congressman, I don't mean to cut into your time, but I was at a brownfield conference over the last couple of days, and we had a national economic analyst talk, and the whole thing we had private developers, we had government people, we had about 250 people there. And the thing that struck me was the optimism that they have for the Mohawk Valley. I've been to several of these over the past years, and oh boy, here we go again. But there was really a positive message, and I think we're on the doorstep of something good here in the Mohawk
feel
Valley.
great because we've all watched it. I watched it not in an official elected role and somebody who had to worry about their budgets and their tax base and all of that, but I have one meeting after another of how great things are, what a great direction we're moving in. And it is because of, I think, who we are and how we positioned ourselves. We got great public schools and we got great higher ed institutions and we care about each other. And we have a history of technology here. So, we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
And the challenges might come with workforce or raw materials or pre-produced materials. And that's why, we just don't want to, we're on the right path, I think. And we got good people in place making it happen, too.
I really believe that the Micron up and running is going to be extremely important for for Marcy, because right now Wolfspeed is struggling on a global level, and their stock prices are down, and it's not able to. There is I think there was an initial thought that electric cars were going to be taking off, and now that demand for those batteries is not there as it was we thought it was going to be. But Micron, we can play a major role in this, and you're going to need a lot of employees. This is a region, just very much like Chobani. This is a regional company.
Absolutely. The whole I-90 corridor is such a tech corridor. I mean, we're like a technology hub, honestly, global technology hub. So whether I speak with, you almost don't want to rattle off names, but we got a lot of people in the tech space at the West End. And when I spoke with Wolfspeed and when I spoke with program, leaders at SUNY Poly and Mohawk Valley Edge, it's all about workforce, and within that workforce, they're really highly skilled professionals, not just the advanced manufacturing piece, but we need those engineers.
And a lot of these people are going to have to come, I would assume. Certainly programs that MVCC and other colleges throughout the area play a big role in preparing a workforce. But at the end of the day, some people are going to have to move here.
Absolutely.
Housing becomes a big issue.
We need housing. Yeah. We do. And I'm on ag, which I'm really thrilled to be on. I asked to be on it in the New York State Senate. I wasn't on the first 2 years. I was on my last 2 years, but I asked to be on, as you can imagine, just because what I heard you talking about when I came down, which is like, you want people, I'm laughing, but you want people who have a significant amount of agriculture in your district and people I can talk to. I can pick up the phone and call a dairy farmer, an onion farmer, whatever, and say, like, what do you think of this bill? And they'll let me know. And I broke from my party multiple times and advocated in the Ag Committee for that. But I mention it because rural development, which is not what we might think about as an agriculture committee, but in the housing space, There's a lot of that in that committee in the House. So that's something as we approach this farm bill and the reconciliation bill, we're going to advocate for.
One of the other things, speaking with Congressman John Mannion, one of the other things when it comes to agriculture is workforce as well. And it just so happens the two, immigration and the need for workforce, collide when it comes to agriculture.
They, I'm guessing the assemblyman here was probably in when Green Light New York passed. Do you know? Are you familiar with that?
I don't know.
Might have been right near the end.
Yeah.
But this is a controversial piece of legislation that passed. I'm not going to talk about the voting piece because we don't have, our voting systems work very well.
Yeah.
But sometimes they tie this to it's tied to each other, which is driver's licenses for undocumented people, right? You say that and you're like, that sounds very controversial, but you go talk to the farmers and they're like, and they may be very conservative on a number of issues, but on this issue, they were like, we do need that.
Yeah.
So we've created a system in this country, not necessarily intentionally, but over time, where we are dependent upon migrant workers, and some of them are undocumented, some are underdocumented, some overstay their visa, right? For me, we need to be a country of laws. We need to follow those. But we also have to acknowledge the fact that we've kind of created this scenario in multiple sectors, in construction and agriculture, where there's people here that are undocumented, and by and large, they're not doing what hits the headlines. They're just here to work.
And farmers,
we got to get it right.
The message for farmers to New York State representatives and federal representatives is fix this. I mean, that's all they want. They want it fixed so that it works and they can continue to plow forward.
Listen,
no pun intended.
I agree because long before I was in this game, I read about it because you care. And of course, my grandfather came here, right, and came from a dairy farm actually, and worked on the New York State Railroad for 42 years. But we have a broken immigration system. There was a circumventing of these asylum seeker rules. That's got to be addressed, and then we were inundated with these challenges as a result from it. But we got to get it right because we do need the employees. And when I talk to, and I'm not going to list them, but manufacturers here in the area in Oneida County, many of them are hiring new Americans. Right. And we know that they fill a key part of that. Yeah. So let's get it right. It's going to take a lot of political will. It's going to be unpopular probably on both sides. We're both going to have to swallow a pill that we don't like within a comprehensive immigration bill.
Yeah. All right. We're speaking with Congressman John Mannion, who is in studio. Do you have a little time on the other side of the news break?
I think we do. Yeah.
People may have some questions. I know Mr. Butler does.
Sure.
Let's work through them, right?
How many passives do I get from the assemblyman? No, I'm joking.
That's a good question. All right. Stand by. We'll come back with Congressman John Mannion in just a second.
Mattress Express is proud to announce we have added Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado, the big online brand, to our lineup in all of our stores. Go to mattressexpressny.com or call 1-800-NEW-BED.
Hi folks, this is Rob Hilton. Your family is your greatest treasure. Is your estate plan ready to protect them when it matters most? At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we understand the importance of getting it right. That's why we offer a free review of your current plan. Together, we'll assess it and provide honest feedback to ensure it truly works. No cost, no obligation, just confidence and peace of mind. Let's prepare for the future together. Schedule a free review today.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law.
At Steve Ponti Chevrolet in Herkimer, we proudly salute those who serve. Right now, military members, active, reserve, or retired, can receive an additional $750 rebate as our way of saying thank you. Looking for a powerful new Chevy truck? Check out the 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT 4-wheel drive. Now with 0.9% financing for 60 months, plus a whopping $6,750 in total rebates. Or explore our huge selection of car brands Bravo certified pre-owned vehicles with financing as low as 4.99% for up to 72 months. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, together, let's drive to Steve Ponti Chevrolet in Herkimer, where it's always easy to do business. With approved top-tier credit through GM Financial, Silverado offer requires 2011 or newer trade-in and 2011 or newer Chevrolet in household. Must be active, reserve, or retired military. Taxes and fees due at delivery. Offers end May 31st. See dealer for complete details.
I do want to keep it going because we have a lot of stuff to get to in the next 14 minutes. This story of the Amazon stabber, if you will, the alleged Amazon stabber, is just a crazy, crazy story. And it all ended in Utica, where police have made an arrest. And right now, by the way, there are no charges in regards to the stabbing that occurred at the Amazon in the town of Frankfort. That is still pending right now. On the line with us right now is Lieutenant Mike Curley with UPD. Am I correct in that? Is that still the case?
Good morning, sir. I know that Frankfort is still working on their case.
Working on it, yeah.
They were just about wrapped up yesterday, last I spoke to them,
right.
but I'll let them speak to their...
This was a really good example of Frankfort, Utica, the task force with the Marshals Department. I mean, everybody really worked together to make this happen, but what a crazy story.
Yeah, it's really a public safety issue, right? I mean, the guy goes in the early morning hours of the 4th and stabs an employee at the Amazon, and then comes here and subsequently stabs 2 more people, menaces another, and we really had it on us to get him off the street as quick as we could because we just didn't know where that would transpire in the future.
And you know, we've had Hauk on here several times. In fact, he was in studio yesterday. He's always said that for a police officer, and I'd like your opinion on this, it is a knife can almost be more dangerous than a gun.
Mm-hmm. I've seen, and so is he, without a doubt. Yeah. I've seen some very, very gruesome knife injuries. You know, a bullet, it's going to be the wrong word, but it's clean, right? It's in and out. It does a lot of damage, but knives have a propensity of really bad damage and cause a lot of pain and a lot of trauma to the body. And
the target being the face, it seems, for this alleged assailant. Going after the face, and then left the convenience store allegedly and stabbed somebody in the chest, right?
Yeah, did that. I mean, that's again, you wonder what the motive and what his mental state was, but just totally unprovoked in both of those occasions, and really the motive for Amazon, I think they're still working on as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, and you probably can't say anything about this, but was the Utica police familiar with this guy in the past, or is this just first time?
Yeah, we've had some incidents with him, just in the general run-of-the-mill things. This is his first arrest. We have no criminal history with him, so certainly nothing of this nature has ever risen in the past.
Are you, I mean, you might not be able to say this. It seems like a mental health issue. Do you believe that's the case?
Yeah, I don't really want to go into that just for defense purposes. They can certainly raise that, as it goes on, but we're going to stick to the fact of the elements of the crime, and they did occur, and this individual did commit them.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Started with the first happening allegedly in Frankfort, then to Utica in the afternoon on Sunday, and then another stabbing outside the convenience store, and then threatening other people in North Utica with a knife. This is just a real crazy, crazy story. So I'm assuming nothing more that you can talk about in regards to this.
Yeah, I mean, you about summed it up. There really isn't a tremendous more. Our motive is still unknown. Whether he, like you said, had a mental health issue or was really just on a bender where he wanted to harm people. I guess that's to be determined. But thankfully, we got him off the street in a very short order, and he won't be harming anybody else for the very near future, and hopefully ever.
Okay, Lieutenant, we appreciate it. Mike Curley from UPD. Thanks so much.
Guys, thanks so much.
All right, have a great day. I mean, this is nuts.
Horrible.
Yeah, terrible.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. The body found in the barge canal in Floyd has been identified as a man who had been reported missing since April. Rome police confirmed the deceased identity as 40-year-old Brandon Montalbano, who was reported missing on April 24th by his family, but had last been seen on April 2nd. Police say they found no immediate signs of foul play or suspicious activity, but an autopsy and toxicology tests have been ordered by the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office. The death remains under investigation. Anyone with information about Montalbano or his activities after April 2nd is urged to contact Rome Police at 315-339-7744. A high school in Buffalo has been placed on lockdown after allegedly receiving 2 threats. Amherst police said it issued a shelter in place yesterday as a precaution. It happened at Sweet Home High School when someone made a bomb threat and reported a gunman inside a bathroom. The threats were not credible. No injuries were reported. One person is injured in a catastrophic home explosion in Hamburg. A Hamburg police spokesperson said yesterday evening that they're still looking for more people. It happened down the 5800 block of West Lane. Crews are on scene and will likely be there for a while. Commuters who drive along Route 26 in Augusta will have to find an alternative route. The portion between Munns Road and the Oliver and Griffith Road intersection will be closed for 5 weeks starting May 19th for a culvert replacement at Sconadoga Creek. There will be a posted detour that will take drivers down College Hill Road, South Main Street, State Route 233, and State Route 26. The New York State Department of Transportation warned drivers to expect delays while replacement work is taking place. And karma appears to have helped a New Jersey lottery player who is cashing in on his $1 million winnings. Lottery officials say back on April 30th, the player spotted a $100 bill on the counter at the Phillipsburg Paul Mart in Warren County and turned his find into the store's lost and found. Moments later, he purchased 3 Power 20X tickets, with one of the scratch-offs containing the $1 million prize. While visiting the New Jersey Lottery's offices to claim his prize, the player called the whole scenario a test from God. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, deep breath now because more rain coming back into the forecast here as we head on through probably later this afternoon and tonight. Just a small chance we could get a shower in here with thickening clouds this afternoon. 80 tonight, a passing shower early. Better chance of showers late, 58. And a few widely scattered showers tomorrow, 70 degrees. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and servicing Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
In life, we're often faced with difficult decisions. When it comes to caring for our loved one, the choice can be overwhelming. But amidst the uncertainties, there's one decision that stands out as an act of profound love and gratitude: choosing hospice care. Hospice care isn't just about medical support. It's about honoring the journey of those who've given their all to their families. It's about providing comfort, dignity, and peace in their final days, surrounded by loved ones. Choosing hospice is a way to give back to someone who has selflessly given their life to others. At Hospice and Palliative Care, we understand the weight of this choice. Our compassionate team is here to guide you through every step of the journey, providing personalized care that respects the individuality and dignity of your loved one. When it's time to say goodbye, choose Hospice Care. Choose love. Choose Hospice and Palliative Care, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison counties. Visit our website, hospicecareinc.org, or call 315-735-6484.
When you need us most.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
right, it's 8:15 to WIBX, 315-736-0186. If you have a question of the Congressman John Mannion, for a few more minutes here in studio. And I'm just going to read off, John, a few that I have here.
Sure.
And some are what they are, right? Ann in Rome, please give me a break. I'm sick of Dems defending illegals. My family came here without breaking laws. How do you answer that?
So listen, we should be coming here legally. It should all be legal immigration, period. So I'm not defending that. What I am saying is we have to look at the reality. If you talk to people in the farming community, they will tell you that, again, they're supposed to be following the rules too, but we cannot dismiss the fact that upwards of 30% of the construction industry workforce in this country are undocumented people. Yeah. So we all hold a little bit of responsibility in that. I'm not defending that. That is the reality in this country. And we've done it to meet the workforce needs of multiple sectors, particularly agriculture. And we all benefit from that labor as well. So I'm not defending it, but if we took every person that was undocumented and removed them from this country, the impact that it would have on our economy would be devastating. And I'm willing to say that not because, I'm here to say we should have open borders, because we don't. That's why I'm a proponent of comprehensive immigration reform. It should be legal entry to this country. We should have courts that work. We should have support our border patrol. We should support them with technology and, yes, physical barriers and all of that. But we're in a spot. We got to get it right.
Yeah.
And that,
which, by the way, is a spot that we created. We allowed this to happen over decades.
Yeah. And the workers on the farms they're contributing, but the other illegals that are living in the hotels that are getting social programs, that's also a drain on our resources.
It absolutely
is. The other side of the coin.
And that is another side of it that we have to be honest about. Both sides have to be honest about and say, like, this is why we need a system that works. When we were going through the last administration, I have said that we were too slow. That administration was too slow in addressing the problem. Yeah. It needed to be addressed, and that is correct, that it is a drain on our resources. We've got to get it right so that there's legal entry into this country that works, that also meets the needs of this country. We're an aging population, and we wonder sometimes why we have these workforce challenges, and that's a contributing factor.
And both sides are guilty of dragging their feet because there's another election coming up, and you don't want a big victory to happen to the opponents, and it's happened on both sides of the aisle. Because, boy, if they get this immigration victory, it's going to mean a big election for them. And here's Rocky in Utica saying, Republican Senator Langford, bipartisan committee created by Mitch McConnell, created the immigration bill that President Trump asked Republicans not to vote for.
Yeah.
And again, it was a big hot button issue in politics.
It wouldn't have done everything, but it would have been a step in the right direction. And honestly, for me, I've already had a career, and I represent a down the middle place that I think I understand pretty well. You've got to be willing to take a political hit and lose.
Yeah.
I know people who represented this area who voted for some things that, again, might be unpopular and maybe even more unpopular to their own side, and they're not around anymore. And I do feel that that's unfortunate, because I think people have the courage, if they have the courage to do the right thing and allow a political ammunition to come at you from the other party, or your own party, you got to be willing to do that. And that's where, I think the Assemblyman alluded to, we've kind of fragmented into our corners. And if you break from your party, the party comes at you. That doesn't make for better government. I know that.
Let's see. This is Fred in Clinton. Can you please ask the congressman to explain his no vote on H.R. 28, the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act?
Yeah. So listen, first of all, I was a coach, right? And by and large, I got to go back here a second, right? Because this is a very controversial issue that keeps coming up. I coach girls sports. I coach boys sports. We have organizations here like the Athletic Association for New York, the NCAA, excuse me. They have rules around this, and they should apply those rules correctly. And what we've seen are situations where they did not apply those rules.
Right.
So it's also, not to get into this too much, but I was a biology teacher. XX, female. XY, male. But there are kids that have this chromosomal transformation, or they're born with other chromosomes. That's a whole other issue. And that's where, I coached girls who were young, and who were had short haircuts or of large stature, and you would hear coaches or parents on the other side be like, is that a boy over there? And, their parents had to go through that. So what this legislation was going to do was allowed for anatomy checks on little kids, basically. And I voted against that. We have and have had for decades organizations that are supposed to get this right. I've mentioned, maybe on this show, maybe not, that Algerian female boxer who got really annihilated in the media. She has an X and a Y chromosome. And I say she was born with female anatomy. She's had female anatomy her entire life, but she does have an X and Y chromosome. And as somebody who's a biology teacher, that's a thing that happens pretty commonly. Yeah. But so those organizations got to get it right. They got to get it right. They've been charged with getting it right, and I think we would all look at some situations recently that they have reversed their decisions, but not after some individuals that were, biologically male at birth have won competitions, and everybody looks at that and goes, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
It is something that is addressed and has always been addressed.
It has.
Even I wrestled in high school, and I was a junior high wrestling coach. So that's the point where boys are going through puberty, and there's literally a nurse and a doctor that examine the kid to see if he is eligible and mature enough to be able to wrestle varsity. He's a really good wrestler, but he might not be at that medical point evolving in his life, whatever. So this is something that I think New York State Department of Athletics and Section 3 and all of that has been dealing with. And maybe that's where we should have a little trust that they're going to deal with this properly.
We have, and they have been dealing with it. They have been dealing with it all along. And listen, the phrase "protect women's sports." I've got a daughter. I coached, girls sports and multiple. I would have been that coach also if I felt like my players had been treated unfairly. So again, we've got organizations set in place to take care of this and have for a long time. Right. They should be getting it right, and they've got their criteria. We seem to be in a different kind of world in that space now than we were in the past. So they've got to get it right. But for me, it came down to it's right in the bill, the ability to perform anatomy checks on kids. And I don't know who that is. I don't know who's charged with that, but I do know we've got organizations already addressing it.
Let's go to Harmony on the radio with a question for Congressman Mannion.
Oh, I didn't really have a I was going for Congressman Mannion, but I do want to add to something kind of interesting.
Okay.
I don't know, just quickly. There's actually a thing called microchimerism. Are you familiar?
I can hear that. So, yeah, I mean,
because you don't have
there
headphones.
Are people that, I don't have headphones. Sorry, that's okay. But again, I was a biology teacher.
Yes,
this is not the standard thing you're teaching in classes. You're just not.
Right.
But as somebody who was a teacher and also a biology major, you watch CSI enough. Or one of those. Right. I don't watch it anymore. But you learn some interesting things about the biology of lots of species, including humans. So you could test a cell, and it could come up with a certain DNA, and then you could test another one, and the DNA could be different. Listen, I'm not a urologist or pediatric urologist, nor do I want to be.
Right.
It's just there are situations where it's not, you need. I'm a biology teacher. You need males and females to keep the species going, but it's in the world of living organisms, there's differences like was mentioned by your caller.
Okay, Harmony, I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll get to in a second with whatever you have. Anything you want to wrap with, you want people to know? And I know the Chobani thing is one of the things. We did finally get you headphones, so it might be a little late, but we got them for you. Thank you, Davey. Anything you want people to know going forward here? And
yeah, well, listen, thank you for having me on. I'm as somebody who grew up here, in the city of Syracuse and Onondaga County, I really care about the region. And when I ran for state senate and I won, the bottom line is we're here to help people. We're here to help organizations. I've got a great constituent services team. We're helping people all the time. I'm not going to go into details, but there was just a case out there that would bring tears to your eyes because basically there was something that was happening with an insurance issue. Basically, this person wasn't going to, the trial that they were in, they weren't going to be able to participate in. That changed. Now, we can't always deliver results like that. And we don't even know if my office did it, was sort of the driving force to get, and it's really out of our typical skill set or what we're able to do. But we are here to help. When people turn to us, I say they're frustrated. They've gone through every other option. And we're here. So, if people want to voice their concerns to me, but more importantly, for my staff to be able to help them on casework, on constituent services issues, go to manion.house.gov. We are also anticipating a Utica office opening.
That was going to be my next question.
It's a long story, but we had a place secured, and it's a little bit of an arduous lease process with the federal government in an organization called GSA. We had it almost done. The landlord got a better offer, like a longer lease, and cut us out of it. And it was a building where previous representatives have used. Then there was, in the Doge space, a pause on credit for that organization. So we're in kind of no man's land for a little while, but we're going to be in the state office building in Utica, and that should be happening in the next month or two. So regardless of that, the easiest way to access us for help, if you got an issue, veterans have an issue, Social Security, any of those federal government things, let us know. And even if they're not, we'll get you to the right representative to help you.
I have to ask you about West Hill before you go, being from Syracuse. Kids, dear God.
Well, this is, again, this is an awful situation that is being addressed. No kid should ever have to go through that. I coach multiple sports. My kids went to West Hill. All right, so they've all graduated, and I can say I know the superintendent who's a good guy who took this seriously. I know, in the athletic department, I don't know this new coach as well, but I do hear that if he had known anything about this, he would have addressed it. And the previous coach, my son had a fantastic experience with them. They were very successful, went all the way to the state championship.
One of the great lacrosse programs in the state.
They are, really. So listen, this should not have happened. The district attorney, the superintendent, all took this very seriously. It's unfortunate that they're going to lose their season because some of these kids, but with the gravity, that's right. But with the gravity of the situation, right now at this time, I do support that decision, which is not an easy decision to make.
Congressman John Mannion, I always appreciate, and listen, you're going to have people that don't agree, and I usually hear from them for a couple of days after you leave, but you're here, and there's nothing more important than sitting down and answering questions. We appreciate that tremendously.
I agree. I appreciate the opportunity. People need to hear from their representatives, and ultimately, we're in a very divisive political time. But we're kind people here in upstate New York. We've got to get around to working together. I think most of us are in the middle, and even if we're not, we've got to be able to talk to each other because, I'm not just looking at the next vote or even the next election. I'm looking at the next generation, right? Yeah. So let's get it right. And this gives me a chance to talk to people, answer their questions, and again, let's just say somebody I'm close to who's not of my party affiliation said, not about me, about themselves, you can't please. Whatever you do, you're going to upset somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to listen. If I don't listen, I'm not going to be a good reflection of the district. So
I have learned all that in radio as well. It's somehow it works here as well. Congressman, thank you. We appreciate it.
And thank you to the assemblyman.
And it's not a long reach across the aisle.
The two of you were so close.
I know.
That was awesome. All right.
Literally rubbing elbows.
Yeah. Literally. All right.
Yeah. Well, can I just interject one thing before you go? He talked about his wrestling career and talked about our roast.
Amazing.
As I summarized his wrestling career, he spent more time on his back than a Tijuana hooker.
Oh my God! Right. Cut to break.
All right. I was just about to say you were so well behaved, and then there you go. All right, quick break, and we'll come back.
If you're push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated welded steel decks, so don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see Warner Sales and Service, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Warner Sales and Service, located just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona.
Now through May 31st, get up to $160 back by mail on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get up to an additional $80 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or firestonerewards.com for details.
Steve Spurbeck and his family instrumental in creating the organization, the nonprofit, which makes beds for kids who are in need, called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And there have been builds here. When I say a build, that's where everybody gets together and they build the beds. It's really quite amazing to see. And then he has moved on down to expanding his business in North Carolina. What do you think he did down there? He started up Sleep in Heavenly Peace, or got involved with it anyway. And they did an amazing mega build where 5,000 beds were built in 24 hours. And Steve is on the line right now. Good morning, Steve. This is incredible.
Good morning, Bill. Yeah, I got involved with the Savannah, Georgia chapter because I live in Savannah now. But
okay.
I was lucky enough through the corporate Sleep in Heavenly Peace to be involved with my experience in logistics. I was in charge of logistics for this 24-hour bed build that was sponsored by Lowe's companies. And it's just unbelievable, the energy when in the room, even at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m., there was a 9-year-old kid with his family there working.
Wow.
And he came up to me, I said, you're kind of young to be up at this hour of night. He goes, you know what? Just knowing that there's kids that don't have a bed,
mm-hmm.
and we're making a bed for them. He goes,
yeah,
that's the good reason to be up at 3 a.m. But
wow,
that just like blew me away. You know how I cry.
I know. I can hear the emotion in your voice right now. It's but you know what? The fact is, I think people they become really shocked when they find out there are kids that don't have a bed to sleep on, or sleeping on the floor, or sleeping on a couch.
Yeah. So there's no official study from the government, but according to Sleep in Heavenly Peace, who's been doing this now since 2012, they estimate in our country 7 million kids sleep on the floor or an air mattress, which if you ever slept on an air mattress is the same thing as sleeping on the floor because they're usually flat by the morning anyway.
Yeah.
So like I said, we had 6,000 volunteers working round the clock. Our lumber, we had so much lumber that we unloaded on Sunday. There was 10 tractor trailer loads of lumber.
Wow.
If you laid the lumber down straight, it'd go for 96 miles.
Wow.
So basically figure almost from Utica to Albany is how much lumber we had inside a 300,000 square foot convention center in Charlotte, North Carolina. over 1,700 gallons of stain we used. And the beds from this hedge are going to have such an impact. They're going to 49 different Sleep in Heavenly Peace chapters, and it went to 16 states. So
wow.
We loaded 12 full tractor trailers, 53-foot tractor trailers from front to back, and 25 26-foot Penske straight trucks, so full of beds that went out within the 24 hours. So we basically were loading trucks. As soon as they got done making the beds, because it's a whole assembly line. We cut raw lumber. We cut it. We drill it. We assemble the beds and.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Taking a Buy American message to the Middle East. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and President Trump is in Saudi Arabia. He just thanked the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for a lot.